start with the breakup. Zoe Kravitz stepped out in New York City yesterday, marking her first public appearance since news broke of her split with fiance Channing Tatum as it is over.
It is over!
You were out for that, Kathy. Yeah, they split.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
I think, guys, I cried on air. It was unbelievable.
Despite the recent breakup, Zoe appeared to be in good spirits, casually strolling through the city in an oversized coat, keeping her left hand tucked out of sight.
Hidden fists.
I like him. What happened? Did you guys know what happened?
No, and there's been no word on what's going on, unless you heard something, Steve.
I've heard a rumor. It is not verified. It is a third-party source that she was the one that wanted to. Well, I would naturally assume he would be the one, but she is the one that did not perceive him as being serious. This is, again, hearsay, but that he was not serious about the relationship.
Oh, well, then I kind of feel better now because I like him, so.
So she hasn't publicly addressed the split. The former couple reportedly plans to keep things professional as they continue working together on the upcoming film Alpha Gang. So they are working together and breaking up. So that's
going to be interesting.
An interesting scenario. And a follow-up to that, shortly after news broke of that split, Steve Kazee entered the chat. The Broadway vet is engaged to Jenna Dewan, who was married to Tatum for 13 years. And right after the split became public, Kazee posted a long string of ha, 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 ha on his Instagram stories. A dig at Dewan's ex. Well, according to his reps, it was just bad timing. His people claim that the ha-ha-ha post was part of a meme exchange between him and Jenna, and it had nothing to do with
they laugh all the time.
Tatum and Kravitz. So.
They laugh together. They enjoy soup. It's a great relationship.
Yep, and both love soup. Sophie Turner sat with Harper's Bazaar and, among other things, touched on her relationship with Joe Jonas. She had shared some kind words about the singer, saying that their separation was not a happy one. She said, "I'm going through a legal process right now where I can't really say much, but it was incredibly sad. We had a beautiful relationship, and it was hard," she said.
Aren't they fighting over where the custody on the child?
They were for They were for a little while.
Yeah.
So she shared that she is happy to have returned to her native England after spending so much time away. She said, "I'm so happy to be back. I was away for so long, 6 years. And it was when my friends were getting engaged and when I got pregnant. And I went for dinner with someone the other day," she said, "and I never got to touch your belly," she said. And that's what the friend said.
Oh.
We didn't have those key experiences with each other. So she's happy to be back in England, and she's sad that it ended, but she's moved on with a billionaire now, so I think she's doing
she's doing fine. Let me get this straight. So if you perceive someone as being pregnant, it is okay to touch their belly?
That's her best friend.
Oh, okay.
That's her she wanted
I just
to
want to know,
belly.
like, if I see somebody today,
just walk over
I can do that.
And touch it.
Is this a baby or are you fat? What did I say?
Here, let me jiggle this for a moment. Oh,
Yeah.
you're just fat. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right. Travis Kelce shared, and I believe we have audio of this, that he and his girlfriend Taylor Swift are absolutely happy together. He spoke with actress Niecy Nash, who he shared the screen with in the TV series Grotesquerie, who said that people won't stop asking her about his business. And she thanked Nash for keeping the details of his personal life private. And he told her that he appreciated that, and he had these things to say.
I appreciate you always. And every time someone that has a mic in front of you always asks you something like that, thank you for always showing love. You know it's real, and you know that me and Tay are absolutely happy. And I appreciate you always making sure that everybody knows that.
Yep. So
you sound happy.
His comments come a few months after a fake plan to manage his breakup with Tay-Tay went viral. His reps at the time said the documents were entirely false and fabricated. The couple, meanwhile, has been dating since summer last year.
You know, Grotesquerie did pretty well with the ratings, and they are moving ahead with Rotisserie, which is about the Showtime grill press.
Okay, it's about time.
Yeah.
That thing was a groundbreaking
Well, the great
invention.
aspect of it was you could literally set it and then forget it.
Completely, yes. Bruce Willis's early dementia symptoms were initially mistaken for his childhood stutter, according to his wife, Emma Willis. She shared that Bruce had always dealt with a stutter, but he hid it well and was good at covering it up. His childhood stutter actually led him into acting, as he found that he could perform lines and not stutter.
This is so often the case with people who suffer from or deal with a stutter, I should more properly say, and sometimes singing or acting will help them get past that. It's weird though, because the moonlighting character was very rapid fire.
Yeah.
So he certainly beat it.
My math teacher in high school, I never knew that he had a stutter until he told us as a class that he had a stutter and that he had to learn how to speak in beats, and that would help.
Okay.
Is that wild?
Yeah. One of my absolute most favorite teachers I ever had, Mrs. Hedrick. She didn't have a stutter, but she would talk like yes.
Uh-huh.
And
Wow.
you would and I remember the
Yeah.
first couple days in class. I'm like, oh wow, this is kind of tough to be around. It felt uncomfortable, but she ended up being one of my all-time favorite teachers.
Yeah.
And I
Nail
think
it?
I didn't nail it.
that probably is considered a stutter.
Maybe, yeah, but it sounded. Maybe
I
you're
know
right.
what you're
A good
talking
friend of
about.
mine had exactly that.
Yeah.
And he considered that a stutter.
Okay,
So,
all right.
yeah.
So you can get past it, and but the interesting thing here is that when his language began to change,
Right.
It appeared to be part of his old speech pattern.
Yeah, so they dismissed it.
They didn't think much of it. She said it was just Bruce, and she said never in a million years would I think it would be a form of dementia for someone so young.
My French teacher in 7th grade had a stutter.
That's tough when you're trying to learn a foreign language from
so
someone.
he would, yes.
Yeah.
He handled it, but occasionally it would pop up and he'd say, he'd have to go. That's not the way you say it. Because we're
Okay.
thinking, Is that but
Yeah, there's some people that the stutter comes along on occasion.
Right.
And then, like my teacher, Miss Hedrick, it was like every time she spoke.
Okay.
It would appear. So.
Listen, anyone who is able to deal with that, it's amazing.
There was a little stretch where it was happening to me on occasion, and it was bizarre. It was almost like my muscle spasms, like zero control over it. I mean, just like it would just like wow, I just went bit like that and did not. I wasn't mentally trying to make that happen. It was very odd.
I know what you're saying. I
sensation.
have this thing where I will inject into a conversation stupid non sequiturs.
Oh,
It seems to happen all the time throughout the show.
30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, well, we haven't been around that long, but we're coming up on it. Reflecting on life post-diagnosis, she shared, we had so many plans, so many things that we wanted to experience together, and you just rip that page out completely, and then how do you rewrite the story? Well, I'm learning how to take some control back, and it's not the most beautiful story, but there are cracks of light, she said.
It was heartwarming to see. There was a picture of him driving with his daughter, and he was sitting in the passenger seat of the car, and he was smiling and seeming to enjoy the day. And that's a win.
That is. So, Dancing with the Stars is far more than just a reality dancing competition. It's also a romantic hotbed. Just weeks after Gleb Sevchenko and Brooks Nader split, you guys realize anytime Gleb is in the news,
You gotta.
You
I'm
have
going
to.
to report this. So Gleb and Brooks split after a lightning-fast romance. Word leaks out that fellow pros Alan Burston and Emma Slater are a couple. The two are said to have been involved in off-the-radar relationship that's now not so off-the-radar. Source told Us Magazine that the romance is not new, it's ongoing. With the couple purposely keeping it quiet. Slater was previously married to fellow pro Sasha Farber, who is rumored to be more than dance partners with his partner, Jen Tran.
So, yeah.
With all that rubbing of body
How
parts.
could you not?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the hardest thing to do is,
Is to not have sex with
not
your
have
partner.
boners. Yeah, I mean, it's that you're doing everything. They're intertwined. And in fact, the dances are by their nature meant to
Yeah.
be romantic. Did you see the show? Who's the rugby player? The female.
I don't remember.
Oh,
her name.
Ilona.
She's amazing.
yeah,
she's
she's awesome.
competing. Did you see that she had her male dance partner up on her shoulder?
Awesome.
No
It was
kidding.
so cool.
I love her.
Yeah.
That's great. So Joe Exotic may have found true love. He announced on his socials yesterday. I mean, the man's in prison.
He's
on
in
his
prison.
socials.
Well,
He has met the man of his dreams and is now engaged. The twice married Exotic,
Wait.
Joe Maldonado Passage is his real name.
is the guy in prison?
Yes,
with them?
in prison. That's how they cultivated the relationship. They
Okay.
met over some toilet wine.
Well, remember he was dating that other guy who wasn't in prison. For a
Yeah, it
little
turned
while.
out he was not really being honest
He
about
was
his
also,
rela-
like,
he was
21.
Kathy, he was sleeping around. When,
So Joe Exotic introduced his followers to his new man, writing, meet Jorge Marquez. He is 33. He is so amazing. He is from Mexico. Now the quest of getting married in prison and getting him asylum, or we will be leaving America when we both get out.
Quick question.
Yes.
we've heard consistent rumors that he was dying of cancer.
Yeah.
So what's the story?
yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Not that I'm not that I'm waiting for a result. Like, come on, make it happen. No, but is he
Yeah.
in remission?
Not sure. Either way, he said, I wish that I would have met him long ago. He is serving, by the way, the Tiger King, 21-year prison sentence after his 2019 conviction for the murder-to-hire plot against Carol Baskin. But what I don't know is why this other guy, Jorge, is in prison. So I haven't heard anything about that as of yet. I'm sure that will come out down the road.
Also, how do you make an announcement from prison?
That's what I'm wondering. His socials, you can keep social media accounts and
Well,
be in prison?
Also, he's under the scrutiny of people, the paparazzi and gossip reporters know where he is. So I'm sure they keep a little bit of an eye on what's going on with him in prison.
Well, I would imagine that he's got to talk to someone on the outside who handles his social media accounts
It's
and
quite
posts
possible.
on his
Yeah.
But
on
it
his
said that
behalf.
there was a screenshot of the couple, a photo.
Yeah, I don't know.
somehow.
But, yeah. So anyhow.
Basket.
Yep.
Killed her, husband whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed them to tigers, they snacking.
Do you know what's amazing?
What's happening? Carol Baskin.
That voice is so different than the voice he uses for "I Saw a Tiger."
Yeah.
Well, that's not. I don't think that's Joe.
No,
That's
it's not.
like a fan
it's a
made
different guy because
song.
that sounds like the real Joe.
No, that's just a dude having fun on TikTok.
Nearly 2 years after his life nearly ended in a horrible snowplow incident, Jeremy Renner has parted ways with the home where he spent months recuperating. He sold this Los Angeles home for $12.4 million. After first listing it at $12.9 million, it's still a hefty profit for him. He purchased that home in 2012 for $4 million.
Wow.
And spent nearly $5.5 million on renovations as well. So he made out pretty decent on that.
I mean, if you had a memory like that attached to a particular place, maybe I'd want to get rid of it too.
Olympian Shaun White proposed. Well, by the way, Steve, that's his Los Angeles home.
Oh, I thought it was the Tahoe home.
No.
Okay.
This is where he was recovering.
Oh, I see.
So I guess he still has the Tahoe.
Well, then maybe
location,
that's the
actually.
case. Yeah.
This is nice. Maybe it was pulled over. The wool was pulled over her eyes in the story. Olympian Shaun White proposed to Vampire Diaries star Nina Dobrev, I'm not sure I say her last name, after tricking her with an invitation to a fake dinner with Anna Wintour. White popped the question alongside a 5-carat Lorraine Schwartz ring at the Golden Swan restaurant in New York.
And the Tiger King will be there.
He had originally planned
Stop looking at me, Swan.
to propose during their summer holiday before she was involved in an electric bike accident and underwent surgery to her knee. In order to keep the engagement surprise, White and his publicist set up a fake dinner with Vogue's editor-in-chief. Dobrev told Vogue that she was in a panic, that she was late for Dame Anna, before opening the door to see White in a Ralph Lauren suit under an arch of white roses, which sent her into shock.
Nailed it.
The pair said that they were later joined by friends for caviar and champagne to celebrate the engagement.
And then he sang her the Carol Baskin song.
Confirming the news on Instagram,
Carol Baskin.
Dobrev said, R.I.P. boyfriend, hello fiance.
I like them both. I was a fan of hers on the Vampire Diaries, and she's, she seems like she's pretty cool, and he's a good dude.
The couple first sparked dating rumors in March 2020 when they were photographed riding bikes together in Malibu and later made the romance Instagram official.
I wonder if those two and the Tiger King, they'll have a double wedding.
Ooh.
Oh, that could be.
Would that be
perfect.
great?
In the prison.
In the prison?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to want to. Maybe.
Something to
they're,
talk
they're just
about.
not going to want to wait. you
No,
know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
By the way, Tiger King's fiance looks like he might be scared of him
Oh, he's very scared.
in the photo.
Be afraid.
Scared of
Yeah.
Joe
By the way,
Exotic?
how did Joe Exotic put on weight in prison?
He's probably not doing anything. He's just
Yeah, that's
sitting
saying he's
around
probably just sitting around. Yeah.
eating Chi-Chi.
So, two more quick stories. Armie Hammer is officially returning to the movie screens. The actor shared a photo of himself with the script for the new Western called Frontier Crucible. He also joked that he was back in the saddle in the caption. Hammer will reportedly star in the movie alongside Thomas Jane. This is a big movie for Hammer, as he had been putting his career on pause back in 2021 after he faced multiple allegations, including sexual assault, cannibalistic fantasies, and more. He previously stated that the fantasies were only being discussed as role play. The actor has been moving back into the spotlight recently. He had launched a podcast, and now heading into the movie business. So we'll see if he's accepted or not.
Yeah, this is a lower budget Western, but he's been honest about the fact that he's had to sell off property and stuff because he's not getting gigs.
But Thomas Jane's a good actor.
He's a good actor.
It'll be interesting to see if this does something for his career. And then one last thing. At long last, the blockbuster Deadpool and Wolverine has a Disney Plus premiere date. The movie, of course, crushed it at the box office this summer, came in as the second highest grossing film of 2024, brought in $1.3 billion globally, and is the 12th highest grossing North American release in history. It also ranks as the highest grossing R-rated movie ever.
It's amazing.
And now if you have Disney Plus, you can watch it in the comfort of your own home starting on November 12th. So very soon. That's excellent.
I haven't seen it since the theater. I've only seen it the one time. I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah, me too. All right, we're ready for clips, gang. Mistletoe Murders.
Oh, yeah!
Is the first tease into Hallmark's iconic world of Christmas. In this clip, actress Sarah Drew discusses the unique drive of her character.
If she knows that there's something she can do to right a wrong, she is going to do every single thing in her power, no matter how many cops tell her to stop. And if she's got to break into some places, if she's got to do some sleuthing that might not be entirely legal, she's going to do what she's going to do because she's got to get to the bottom of it because it's the bigger good that she's after.
I want to see you naked.
Mistletoe Murders releases today on Hallmark Plus. I was watching Hallmark yesterday. My in-laws are in town.
There you go.
And Butch, my wife's father, loves those things. So it's on constantly. And I was watching one yesterday, Steve, and still, these Hallmark movies, they do it. I'm looking at the girl who is the love interest, the star. And there's so many times where I'm like, I know that person. I know her. And then I go and look them up and I'm like, I don't know her.
But she looks like someone you know.
You know who she looked like?
Who?
Oh my God. Tom Cruise was married to her for a minute.
Minnie Driver?
No, Surrey.
Katie Holmes?
Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
She looked just like Katie Holmes. And I'm like, that can't be
There
Katie
you go.
Holmes.
Oh, it wasn't Minnie
But I had
Driver.
to look it up.
Who was the one who got him into Scientology?
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Oh, Minnie Driver. Oh, no, Minnie
Mimi
Rogers. Mimi Rogers.
Mimi Rogers.
Minnie Ripperton.
You said Minnie Rogers. Does she have a lisp by any chance, Preston? Because there is this actress that I think that looks like Katie Holmes that I've seen her in a couple of different things. She's got the cutest little lisp.
No. She did not have a lisp.
Damn it.
It was on yesterday, and I've forgotten all the titles
should come
are
over.
like this, and I've forgotten the name
Butch
of
and I
it.
can watch some movies
Yeah,
together.
you can. You guys
we'll
can
hang
get
out.
along wonderfully. All right, next clip. Saturday night follows the debut of the cast of Saturday Night Live, which famously starred Chevy Chase. And here, Corey Michael Smith talks about the difficulty of studying such a heavy legacy.
So it was just spending hundreds of hours watching him and trying to figure out how he handles language, to navigate comedy, to land something or to trick people's attention, to then land something. The particular dryness that Chevy has.
That dude is really good. He played the Riddler in Gotham.
Okay.
Terrific actor.
Saturday night is in theaters now.
Yeah.
Check that out. People can check it out. All right, that is what I have in the entertainment report for you this morning. We have a couple of guests joining us today. Hamilton, the stage show, is in town, performing at the Academy of Music. We're going to have the two leads here this morning who play Alexander and Eliza Hamilton.
Very cool.
Looking forward to that later on today. Some real talents. And we'll spend the morning making our way towards Halloween evening, which, by the way, is going to be fantastic. The weather's highs 81 degrees today.
It's amazing. It may be the greatest weather for a Halloween ever.
Yeah, if this is your holiday, you're going to have a great one this year. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
On 93.
Sitting all morning long, tickets for the Barbecue go on sale right now. It is exactly 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets. The lawn seats start at just $25. And we want you to get on board because we want you to be there for all of the bands and all the activities that are taking place. We're going to have Aaron Jones, who we just played, Dorothy, Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen's band, Mammoth, will be there. Dirty Honey, Cheap Trick, The Offspring, and the band that this gentleman is in, who is joining us right now. We're so excited to have Jane's Addiction on the bill.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've seen them before. I saw them at the Spectrum ages ago.
Amazing, right?
Blew me out of the water. One of my favorite shows in that building of all time. Please welcome Mr. Dave Navarro. our show today. Good morning, Dave.
Hi, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. That's a very nice welcome.
It's our pleasure, man. Like I said, yeah, I've seen you guys before. I know the kind of energetic show that you bring, and that you guys get the audience in on the party. You make it happen. And it's been a while since we've partied, Dave. So big expectations.
It's been a while. Yeah. Well, big expectations for me too. I got to tell you, the other night, LA is starting to open up and have indoor eating and dining and things like that. And I went to a restaurant the other night, and it was overwhelming. Just people and noise and things going on and plates being dropped. And then I thought forward to our show coming up in September. I was like, man, I'm not even prepared to be in a restaurant.
Baby steps.
But
you know what I mean? Like, what is it going to be like walking out onto like a festival audience with you guys? But I'm excited to do it, man. It's been a long time. So
the way
we're pretty psyched.
The way it's progressing is that the show is it's at the end of September. So again, everyone's sort of feeling their way. It's like the cobwebs are lifting and the doors are opening and everyone's looking above ground. And by that time, I think we're going to be in a nice swing of things. But I can't think of a better scenario, especially since it'll be a little bit cooler in September.
Yeah.
And the roster's great. And Preston's seen you guys a number of times, and I've always wanted to see Jane's Addiction, and people are freaking out.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm also super excited to see Wolfgang Band.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been talking quite a bit about that, David. I want to get your take on this because the music that we've heard so far, very impressive. He had a lot to live up to, and that's another thing. And I'm hoping for the best because not only is he a young musician trying to make his way, but I need somebody to carry on that Eddie
legacy.
The mantle?
Thank you. Yeah. And that's got to be a tremendous amount of pressure on him, I assume. I'm sure he's gladly going to take this on, but it's got to be a weird position to be in.
Yeah, I would imagine the best thing for him is to acknowledge that and be aware of it, but to just do his own thing, man. Yeah. He's his own human being, and like he's got his direction musically. And from what I've seen, it is very different than Van Halen. It's a little bit more, more modern rock, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic, and I want to see him. I want to check out the band, and I'm going to do everything in my power to not tell him how much your dad meant to me.
I know. It's hard though, right?
It's going to be impossible, but you know how hard that's going to be to not do. But yeah, I mean, I hope the best for him, and I typically don't get to when we do these festival shows. I typically don't get to them early, but I'm definitely going to come down and check out Wolfie, and I'll probably check out Cheap Trick too. Because Xander's a friend, and I played with him a bunch of times. And a weird side note for me is that I think the first concert I ever went to was Cheap Trick opening up for Kiss.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Like in the 70s.
Yeah.
And so to be on the same bill with them as Cheap Trick and as Jane's Addiction is a pretty big deal for me. Just in terms of having a little personal clash with my own history, I suppose.
Well, Dave, I have to tell you, I had my upper thigh felt at a backyard barbecue to a Cheap Trick song in the 70s. So, yes.
I don't know that we can top that experience for you.
I mean, that was good.
Hey,
Dave, at least you had that.
I wanted to ask, with the length of time it's been since musicians have had a chance to do live shows. I mean, you can pick up the guitar and you can play it and you can keep your chops going, just doing a little rehearsing here and there and writing whatever you may be doing. But is there a difference between being, keeping the instrument fresh and being on stage? Or do you have to get your stage legs together, essentially, is what I'm asking?
I mean, I don't know. We've been doing it for so long. And, believe it or not, Jane's Addiction has historically taken years off, years of hiatuses. And so, we're just coming out of COVID, and it's been a while since we've been on stage, but we are ironically very used to getting back together after years of not doing it. So hopefully we are experienced in trying to make it look seamless once we get back on the stage. But usually when the first downbeat happens and Perry gets into his trip, it's pretty easy to get lost in that environment and just kind of go back to second nature.
Yeah.
You know, fortunately, a lot of these songs have been with us for 30 years, you know, so it should be pretty seamless.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt. Dave Grohl has this special coming out about the van life, evolutionary period of a band. Was that you guys? Was that Jane's? Were you guys doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We our first tour was in a van with the entire band and the one crew member that we had and all of our gear in a U-Haul behind us, and like literally taking turns driving and just freezing and sick and hating each other and in close quarters. And when you do get to a motel, you all share a room. Like it was, you know, the early days were rough stuff.
Well, I was surprised to find out when Dave is mentioning when Nevermind came out, this album is out. It's starting to hit. They're still in a van traveling to shows. It is, you know, this is a groundbreaking record. This is huge. This is rock and roll history right here. And they're still driving around a van. When Nothing's Shocking, were you guys still doing the van thing when that came out?
I know that we had a couple of tiers.
Okay.
So we went from a van to what we thought was a great idea, which was a Winnebago.
Okay.
So it wasn't quite a bus. It was a Winnebago. It was literally like a mobile home. And we broke out a window. One of the side windows got shattered somehow. So we were literally touring around the East Coast in the dead of winter.
Oh, no.
With just freezing cold 75-mile-an-hour wind just wafting through the Winnebago.
Did you try to tape up like a trash bag or something?
Well, you try. Yeah, you try everything. And then finally at some point you're like, fuck it, we'll deal with it. We just we just sat there and like dealt with it. But I think that, you know, I think there's something to be said about those old days that like we really, I don't know that we would be the same band without them. You know, we really had to. I mean, there were gigs. We were putting in vans, and we'd pull up to the club, and we would load out and load in our own gear ourselves. So it would be like a Jane's Addiction show. Thank you, good night, and then start winding up cables and putting guitars in cases and trying to push your amp off the stage, get ready for the next band. I really appreciate having had those experiences. As much as I would never want to do them again, I think they really taught us how to be a band.
I was in my 20s. I was a band guy. I'm a drummer. And so just a couple of last year, I was like, I got together with some guys. We created a cover band, and we went out and we played some gigs. And I tell you what, Dave, on that first night, at 3 o'clock in the morning, when we're putting the last bit of crap back into the van, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking, man? This sucks. You know?
It's a little different when you're 17 and you're pushing stuff in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, right now, like, my lower spine cannot handle carrying an amp.
It's just not going to happen.
Dave, we're able to Zoom with you right now, and looking over your shoulder, is that a cuckoo clock up on the wall? And if so, what's the story behind that?
Actually, there's probably 12 of them in this house. I collect them.
That's cool.
It's just a weird thing. And, you know, cuckoo clocks, when I was a kid, that was like in cartoons, that was the symbol of crazy.
Yeah.
Like if someone was crazy, you'd see a little cuckoo or a bird would come out. And I just kind of came with this whole embracing. I do a company called Dual Diagnosis, which is it's an art/clothing company that's geared at lifting the stigma of mental health issues.
Right.
And, you know, there's a whole story behind the cuckoo. I don't know if you know about it, but if you look inside that box, it's all complicated gears and springs and coils and wires. There's this little bird that's trapped in there. It can't fly out because it's held down by these weights.
Yeah.
You see the weights that hang down?
Right.
Which could be, you know, its emotional baggage, for instance. And so until it drops that baggage, it can't fly and reach its full potential.
Wow.
And it's locked in this confusing box that's making it crazy. So, yeah, I collect them, and then we also use them artistically throughout the Dual Diagnosis company, and that's spelled DUAL diagnosis, and dualdiagnosis.com.
Well, I never realized there were so many metaphors attached to a cuckoo clock, but I
think that I invented them, but they were.
But that's good. I can completely see that because I'm fascinated by little mechanisms and the artistry of that stuff, animatronic things, and all of that. Have you yourself ever designed a cuckoo clock?
I designed what I called a cuckoo clock wristwatch. Was when I took that clock and I duct taped it on my arm.
Okay, that counts.
This is a crazy watch, but no, I'm not a tinkerer. For instance, I love watches. I love components. I love things that work like that. But I mean, these things, you know, they're kind of genius, and the implications, like the humorous implications that they contain, are kind of funny, and you just don't see them anymore. But if you look around my house, like I think there's one over there.
Yeah.
There's one there. There's one on the other side. So there's like 15 of them in here. But the best part is that they're all set at different times.
Yeah.
So throughout the day, just a different bird is coming out.
That's great.
And it will literally drive you insane. I mean, if you're not insane already, put up 5 cuckoo clocks. You know what it's like.
Yeah, you know, my sister's actually obsessed with cuckoo clocks as well, but she does not have one. Maybe that is a good gift for me to get for her.
It's a great gift, and they you know they make them battery operated now, but the ones that are really special are the ones that are handmade, that use the actual weight system to have the time tell time, and even the pendulum has to be hung at the right length, otherwise it's going to either tick too fast or too slow.
Okay.
So they're very complicated things, but they are interesting to be obsessed with.
I completely get it. Yeah.
I did not expect to be talking about those.
Well, I'm sure you're not going to expect to talk about this either. Are you wearing a Snuggie right now?
No, right now I am wearing it's like a hooded cape. This is like for outdoors life.
That's
ceremonial outdoor life, and it happens to be 7 a.m. here in LA, and I just happen to be freezing. But I will tell you this: I am not opposed to a straight up Snuggie either.
No, why would you be?
Dave, who would you say between you and Perry? You guys are artists to the core.
Yeah.
Who's a little more quirky in their personality? Is it you or Perry?
We both have a lot of, I guess, independent thought, I would say. Mm-hmm. And, but I would say that, I would say Perry, just because being a frontman of a band like this and having to have that sensibility and be on every night and deliver every night, like I get to turn around and hide behind the guitar and like get lost in my instrument, which I love, because I did a solo tour in 2000, and I just came to learn that I didn't love it. I didn't love leading the band. I didn't love being the lead singer. I didn't love the eyes. I didn't love the pressure. And Perry can do that really well, and he, in fact, loves it. So I would say that there is a component to his personality that allows him to be that extroverted on stage and do it with authority and conviction. So I don't know if I would say he's more quirky, but I would say that he has what it takes to front a band.
Yeah,
better than most, I would say. And I think along with that kind of mentality, you've got to have some walls down, to allow yourself to be that raw in front of people.
Totally.
And while at the same time having certain walls up. So I think it's a microcosm of some kind of very strange dance that goes into being a lead singer. And, he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best frontmen that have been around in the past 30 years.
Is it hard, speaking to that point about, because you let a lot of you out, with your love of the tattoos and artistry and the cuckoo clocks and things, things that are part of you. Is it hard when you are in the public eye the way you are? And you're talking about Perry being more up front and being the front man, but you are a personality. You are a pop culture personality. Is it hard to know I'm going to keep this just for me.
3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kath. So clearly, all things Halloween, and the weather is cooperating absolutely wonderfully. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, Emily, who is going to a Halloween party, not tonight, but this weekend. I think some people who are going to have
do it this weekend, yeah.
Costume parties coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tip her hand because I think it's a great idea. She's going as Sloth.
Oh, I love it.
Which I thought was great. I'm like, how are you doing? And she's really pretty. And I'm like, well, how are you going to, what are you going to do? She's like, I'm wearing a mask. And I said, okay, are you committing to a mask?
Yeah.
You know what? Have you done that before when you go to a party? Because that's...
If you're not used to it, it comes off within about 20 minutes and you're holding it in your hand for the rest of the evening.
So she said she's going to do the whole she's going to play the part.
All right.
Exactly. Yeah. And then after an hour, the mask is going to come off and then it's party on.
All right.
Pretty sloth. I went to a party once where somebody came as Jason and they arrived and they stood in the window and like freaked everybody out, came into the party, didn't speak to anybody, never took the mask off.
Really?
The entire night. Finally, it was like 1 a.m. and everyone was, had been drinking. They were playing beer pong. We were in our 20s. Everyone was sleeping over and we were like, please take it off. All night, everyone was trying to figure out who it was.
They didn't know who it was?
No one knew
That's
who
awesome.
it was.
That's what you call stick in the landing.
It was so fun. It was so much fun to try to figure out who it was, and it ended up being one of their neighbors.
Oh, no kidding.
Okay, I was going to say, was it apropos but you didn't know who they were? You personally?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
We knew we knew who they were. We just didn't people were because he had replied that he wasn't coming. So nobody was expecting him to be there.
That's the fun of Halloween.
Yeah.
And if you're going to come and you sell a costume like that, a non-speaking character, and you come in and do that, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, man. You know what? Listen, I love a good Halloween costume. You don't have to play the part. Do you know what I mean?
Especially if you're Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. But I will say, the one...
Goddamn, I hate that.
I didn't witness this. This is a friend told me about this. He was at a Halloween party. This guy walked in. He clearly set this up ahead of time, but he was Mr. Rogers, and he came into the house, and he went into the closet, and he took out the sweater, and then
that.
and he did. Yeah.
What do you mean you don't have to play the part?
Well, all night,
it becomes annoying.
It's just
some
a costume,
characters.
Yeah.
Your guy Jason wasn't saying anything. So after a while, though, but if you, I'm a pirate. Shut up!
Well, Kate, so when I was the baboon, my friend and we were jumping up on the countertops. We were...
All night long?
No.
Right.
That's what I was going to say. That would have gotten very annoying. But yes, when we arrived, we were on their furniture. Yeah.
That's great.
By the way, I finally saw a picture that Marissa posted great Halloween costumes of MMR staff members through the years, and I saw your baboon. For those who don't know, Kathy took the dodgeball, the red classic high school gym or grade school gym ball, cut it in half and put it on her ass to make that cherry red colored ass. It's hilarious, Kath.
One of the things that we've talked about in the past is did you end up in a holding cell in costume?
Oh my God.
And that would have been good conversation for this past weekend. But I remember going to one of our Halloween parties back in the day, and it was me, at the end of the night, it was me, my younger brother, and intern Joe. And it was just so surreal because we went to Pat's Steaks afterwards, and there we are, me and my younger brother were dressed as giant babies, and he was Anchorman with the no pants on.
Ron Burgundy?
Yeah, Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting there, and we were the only ones in costume sitting there at Pat's Steaks eating our cheesesteaks.
Really?
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that. People who've been arrested in costume, and you have to sit there in the holding tank.
So this person wasn't arrested, but they were driven home in the back of a cop car in a Captain America costume. Got out at his house, went in, woke up the next morning, and was like, I left my shield in the cop car, called the police station, and asked if they had his Captain America shield.
Listen, what's Captain America without a shield?
Right.
Well, we went to Chamonix one time, and somebody we know got pretty lit up, really banged up, and was on the way home, and his wife had to drive home because he drank too much.
Oh, that's right.
And he was dressed as Mr. Incredible. And he passed out on the front yard of their house and stayed there all night. She woke up
Wasn't he vomiting out the window, too?
Yes! So he wakes up in his vomit-stained Mr. Incredible outfit on the front lawn. He refused to go in the house. It was that he was one of those. I'm fine out here. Oh my God!
I would. Is there any photographic evidence of that? I would love
That's
to see it.
That's a good question. I don't know if they
because
took
how could you
pictures
let
or
that
not.
go without immortalizing that?
If that were me, I'd probably burn those photos.
I'm looking at my photos right now, and I did not know this, but I have a series in my favorites of me and Caroline throughout the years. I need to post that, because that was pretty special. Here's us as Batgirl and Superman when we used to do the tandem costumes. So, you already have it, Marissa? Thank you. Wait a minute, what's that? Hold on.
I have some. I keep an archive as well, too, and some over the years. I'll repost this gallery. It was in the weekend thing, but I will add two guys. On Saturday, I guess. No, maybe it was Saturday, I went to brunch with some friends, and there were so many walk of shames.
Oh, really? In costume?
In costume still, because Halloween party started last weekend. Oh, it was so good.
I think, to me, if I were to pick a weekend, though I do know a lot of people doing it this weekend, I would do it before Halloween because it seems right afterwards it's like the walk of shame. You know?
Yeah.
By the way, here's a text from somebody that says, did I miss something? I'm a music teacher on my way to school dressed as Jack Sparrow.
You don't have to teach as Jack Sparrow.
Everybody's welcome to class today. Shut up!
Steve's a fan.
In my very brief college career, I had a astronomy class, and our professor dressed up, and this is a sign of the times because it was the late 80s, but he was dressed as Father Guido Sarducci from Saturday Night Live. And during his entire lecture did not break character.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
It wore out after 30 minutes. I got tired of it after 30 minutes.
Up in the middle of
Just shut up with that!
Yeah.
I mean, I think you get 5 minutes to do character.
You do the intro. You do a little bit of bench, and okay, so you keep on going? Shut up!
I was walking around doing Borat the other day just to myself because I was entertaining myself. And I was like, how long is this even funny to me? I think I'm getting annoyed by my own impression.
We actually have the music teacher who is dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow on our phones. It's Ben. Hey, Ben, good morning.
Good morning,
Gadzooks. See, you missed it. I thought you were going to go right into the Jack Sparrow impression right there.
Well, my impressions are not quite as good as Steve's, and also,
Now listen, I don't want to take the wind out of your pirate sails. You certainly do it occasionally. I think you would agree, though, a full day of Captain Jack Sparrow would start to wear thin.
Well, I'll have to let you know at the end of the day.
All right, try the lab experiment. See what. But you should then, in keeping with the character, have open bottles of alcohol that you're drinking from. Throughout the day.
Now we're talking. That'll help me get through it.
All right, Ben, good luck and have fun today, all right?
Okay.
All right, we'll see you later. So,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say teaching, that's a profession that lends itself to.
It could be wonderful.
Dress up today.
There's a great episode of Modern Family where Mitch is told that they dress up in costumes, and he shows up in a Spider-Man costume, and he's been told by the two freaks at the office that everyone was going to be wearing costumes. So no one but these three are wearing costumes.
I love it.
And he's like, and there's this is a legal firm, and he's going in a Spider-Man outfit. Sometimes you got to read the room.
I went to a party one time. It was on Halloween, and I was like a sophomore or something like that. I thought we were going to a costume party.
It's the best.
It was not a costume party.
What kind of, just a regular cocktail party or what?
It was teenagers.
Oh, teenager party.
It was a hangout, drink beer, somebody's parents were gone.
What did you show up as?
I was it was a great costume. I was one of the baseball Furies.
Oh, there you go.
From the Warriors. But
you actually reprised that costume.
I did at one of our creep shows. Yeah, but no, but see, I was on the younger end, so there were like seniors there and stuff.
Oh, man.
That made me a target.
Oh,
that
really?
Did not make me look at that cool costume. It kind of sucked.
Yeah, no doubt.
Preston, you ever done a Dune costume?
No,
because you'd rock that.
I could do that.
Yeah, I mean,
do the worm.
I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, the giant worm.
I am Shai Hulud.
Have you seen though? People have done some creative Dune costumes.
No,
there's a guy on. I saw him pop up on TikTok. He is Paul and he is, and he's got this worm It has to be someone in the costume, but it's undulating, and the opening, the bristles and everything.
Oh, wow.
It looks friggin' awesome.
I wouldn't mind being. I'd have to get the makeup and everything, but what's his name? Played Fade Rao, Elordi. What's his name? No, Elordi.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Elvis, yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to black out your teeth and be all white and stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
Man, he was good in that.
Hang on, I want to go to this because it sounds great. I want to go to Amy. Hi, Amy. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Happy Halloween, you guys.
Same to you. All right, so you saw something interesting on Halloween one time.
I did. About 15 years ago in college, I witnessed an epic fight between a banana and Edward Scissorhands.
Yes. People fighting in costume. A banana.
What did we see? Didn't we see an Easter Bunny brawl, or was there a Santa brawl?
I've seen Santa brawls.
Yeah, Santa brawls.
The banana. Who won? Who won the fight, Amy?
They were kind of too drunk to have a winner, to be honest with you. But the best part is when the fight started, Edward Scissorhands said, "You want to go, banana?" And he threw his Scissorhands to the ground.
Oh, no. Why would you, if you were in a fight, lose your Scissorhands?
Yeah.
That's your.
Great.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to get, arrested for murder on that particular evening.
No, it was hysterical.
Kudos to the banana, though.
Amy,
Right?
that's hilarious. Where were you at the time when this happened?
Westchester University.
At Westchester.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
If you were a banana or the Scissorhands, call in now.
Yes.
Oh, one of the best stories from Westchester on Halloween. My good friend went to the Rat as Adam and Eve.
Okay.
And he just took a leaf off of a tree
Oh, my
Shut up.
God.
and taped it to himself
Oh,
and
my
walked
God.
into the bar that way.
They let him in?
Was he naked?
He was completely naked with a leaf. He got in. He
Yeah.
somehow got in. He got kicked out and they banned him. They told him he could never come back because he also had a lot to drink.
He was doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, so they told him he could never. Now listen, that was years ago.
And
so
he taped a leaf over his
he
junk.
taped a leaf
Did it obscure everything?
over his junk.
Yeah.
No,
It did.
there's no way. And he got it on the way there.
He went
he
in completely naked, walked through Westchester,
Naked.
butt-ass naked with a leaf.
Did you guys have? Because there was a naked guy at my college, and he was a couple years older than me. So he, but my freshman and sophomore year, you'd be at a party, and
He
there'd
would
be
get
naked
naked.
guy in the corner, and which is so funny because I think it was PCU where they're like, "Oh, there's naked guy." I'm like, "I have a naked guy."
Yeah, he was the naked guy.
Okay.
I've seen him fully naked.
I want to go to Chris next. Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, man. What's up?
Hey, so I was actually in the studio for the Eagles tattoo.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was a great time.
Cool.
I was just calling in. I went to a quote unquote Halloween party a few years ago. My wife and I, some friends of ours threw, and it was a Halloween party. It was around Halloween. It was at our friend's house. And I mean, I'm in my mid-30s. We showed up, 2 giant inflatable avocados.
All right.
And we were the only ones dressed up. No one else, not even like, jeans and a t-shirt and like a funny mask or something, like nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, it's incredible.
Oh, no.
There's a certain, you can turn that to your advantage, but especially since you had another avocado with you.
Yes, we were 2 halves to one silly avocado, but as the night progressed and people started drinking, those costumes ended up getting passed around, and it was like just everyone was having a blast.
See, your baseball Furies costume didn't have the same reaction.
No, I had makeup and I had, at least you probably had normal clothes on underneath your costume and you could have taken it off and blended right in. But
Yes, exactly.
I was committed. I was wearing a baseball uniform and face paint.
For a while, it was a couple of parties. This was in college. I would show up at parties with the intention of acting like I thought it was a costume party, and I had a Roman centurion outfit.
That's awesome.
With a big brush helmet, and I showed up. This was really kind of bold because there was this woman who was interested in hiring some people out of the college I was going to do some script brush up. Her husband was a producer, and I'm like, I couldn't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
But the dumb ass that I am, I show up to what was a quasi-industry party, which we got invited to, in a full Roma Centurion.
Oh, my God.
I love that.
Fortunately, they found it funny. So,
good.
Yeah. I wish I had that outfit. It was great.
I have Pete on next. Hi, Pete. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's Preston. How you guys doing today?
Good morning to see you, sir. We're doing great. What do you want to share with us?
About 1984, I was about 22 years old and engaged to the most wonderful girl I ever knew. And her and her mother pulled a good one on me. Here it comes.
Okay.
I'm sitting at home, and my mom's telling me, don't go out. And I'm hollering, and she's like, I'm telling you, stay here. So I did. These two figures knock on the door. They looked like two little old ladies that had just come out of the field from picking crops, okay?
Okay.
And they come in, and I'm like, and she's like, don't you? And I said, do I know you? And they looked at each other, nodded their heads. Have I ever seen you before? They looked at each other, nodded their heads. And this is going on. I bet you they had me going for about a good damn half an hour. And I'm telling you, all of a sudden I gave up. I said, okay, who could it be? They take off their masks. I couldn't believe it was them. It blew me away, man.
So they had it was your fiance and your mother-in-law.
Yeah, and her mother.
Did you have a threesome?
No, hell no.
Man.
I couldn't be that lucky on my best day.
Yeah, who doesn't want to bang your fiance's mom?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
While your fiance's right there.
That's great. Thanks,
Well,
Pete.
I've seen many movies that would say, no, that's the case.
Yeah,
That happens
they're-
quite a lot.
yes, they're usually short,
very
maybe 10
short,
minutes long,
with
something
a
like
lot
that.
of people that look like other actors you know.
Yeah, let me go to Marie. Hi, Marie. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Halloween.
Same to you, Marie. What's going on?
So back in 2001, I was 19, and I went to an off-campus Halloween party at Westchester.
Again.
What's going on with Westchester?
Yeah. You guys missed out.
Yeah.
Yes, and had a little too much jungle juice, and I was dressed in my dad's old army gear. I mean, his the hat and the shirt, like the old army hat. His shirt had his name tag on it, and afterwards went back to my friend's dorm and being drunk pushed the fire alarm button. It wasn't like the big one. It was the one in the elevator.
Oh, no.
Pushed it, and she tried to hide me in her dorm, like under blankets and everything. And then security came up and was like, oh, we need your friend. And she's like, oh, I don't have anybody here. Well, they got me, and my parents had to drive up to Westchester Police and bail me out.
And
so
here
you're
you are wearing your own father's army uniform as they pick you up. Stolen valor from jail. Marie, did you get a good talking to after that?
Yes, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
But looking back on it now, they don't let me live it down. So
Sure. I mean, that's the same thing happened with Rambo's daughter.
Thanks, Marie. Yeah. I have Bill. This one sounds good. Hi, Bill. Morning, buddy.
Good morning. How you doing?
Awesome.
Yeah. So my best friend brother, who actually passed now, got in a fist fight at Fifth and Tabor in his Puff the Magic Dragon
costume.
He was using his tail to knock people over.
That's great.
He beat up 3 guys in a Puff the Magic Dragon.
Dude, he took out 3 guys dressed as Puff the Magic Dragon?
Yes, sir.
That's man, that tail really comes in handy, I guess.
Yes, it did. Cars were just stopping, just watching it. It was hilarious.
I'd watch it. I'd pay to see that in a movie.
Bill, was he instigating these fights?
No, he was not. No,
Really?
No, he did not instigate the fight. But
Okay.
Who picks on
somebody he wanted to mess with?
Yeah.
Who picks on Puff the Magic Dragon?
A benevolent
Maybe
character.
little Jackie Paper, probably.
Maybe.
No, he
Said
loved
about that.
him.
Wow.
There's a little more to the story, but we can't put that on the.
All
Okay.
right. Fair enough. All right. Thank you.
They
Bill.
had the threesome.
Appreciate it, man. Let me see here. We'll go to Jess next. Hi, Jess. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's just first say YouTube.
YouTube. What's up, Jess?
So like 2 years ago, I was in Vegas for Halloween,
and talking about people abandoning their costumes, there was just an entire full size, like it must have been super expensive, Big Bird costume just next to a trash can on the like ground all night.
Was it molting season?
Did you take it or did you just leave it there?
I left it there.
Aw.
What were you going to do? Walk around with it on Fremont Street on Halloween? Be like, or get in it? Ew.
Wow.
Yeah, it was probably discarded for a reason.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what? I'll bet somebody puked inside of it.
Yeah.
I'll bet you
Who
that's
wants,
what
who
happened.
wants Big Bird with skid marks?
Wow.
Oh, gross. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jess. Appreciate it. One time I went, and I forgot what the costume was, but I went to a costume shop in Center City to rent it for, I don't know what party it was. It might have been. It's an old city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably it. Man, expensive.
Yeah.
Renting a really good
Well, it's a
costume.
real- they're real
Yeah, they're real.
costumes.
I mean, like it was, it wasn't
Like a theatrical
thin.
costume.
Yeah, it was
when you
heavy.
go rent those kind of costumes, my Roman centurion outfit was from a rental company, but it was damaged. The chest plate had like I guess the strap was broken or whatever, and so I bought it flat out. But back then it was
Right.
it's about $100.
There was a place on McDade Boulevard in like the Ridley Woodland Millmont Park area. It was called James May Costume Company. You used to be able to go there. They would put together like mummers outfits, but that was the one place that you have your Spirit Halloween, which is like budget stuff, but this was like real deal. I never had the money to rent it type of stuff.
Yeah, the stuff at Spirit of Halloween can be super expensive.
It really can.
Yeah, and I
But
think
not
a lot
quality.
of yeah, right. Yeah, it's
Right.
really expensive crap.
Yeah. Well, you can skip up though. They do have their premium stuff. When I go to Spirit, a lot it is for the decorations.
What do you guys overall think about like the inflatables? Because I like them. I never get tired of them. I think some people think
hold
it's
on.
kind of
inflatable
costume or decorations in the house.
Costumes.
I love them
because some people think that it's kind of cheating a little bit or whatever.
I like them.
around the
They're
house's
so funny
decorations.
looking.
If you're doing something and it works for you, I don't use the inflatable decorations outside. But anybody in any kind of inflatable costume, I am on board.
The best, Nick, that I just saw recently was an inflatable dachshund. And this person was in their inflatable dachshund walking their dachshund.
Nice. Oh, that's
Dude,
great.
It's hilarious.
So wait a minute. Dachshunds are squat.
It's gigantic.
Okay.
So the dachshund head is as tall as you are as a person.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
isn't that great?
That's terrific.
So the back legs trail behind you.
They got to.
Oh, that's great. We're looking at a picture of this.
If you
Oh,
can find the
man.
video of the person walking their dachshund in the dachshund costume, then you can see exactly how it looks when they're walking.
Yeah, I saw last night at the Rock Band concert at Souderton High School. We were leaving, and I didn't even see this person at the end. It was a giant inflatable Cartman, like big, round.
Yes, that's
I'm like, we were
awesome.
all like, look at that. That's
It's
fantastic.
terrific. Yeah, we're watching now.
One of my favorites at before inflatables were invented, and I saw this at a couple of different, because I used to host costume contests at bars and stuff like that back in the day, was a guy he was like a Budweiser knight, and he made this whole elaborate horse and out of cardboard and so on, and his helmet was a 12-pack.
Wow.
And it was awesome. And he had a thing where he had a sword on the side of the horse, and we would hit the button on the hilt of the sword. The tail of the horse would lift up, and it would crap beer cans.
That's amazing.
It was great.
That's elaborate. We used to, many times, as you said, we would host all these contests, and so we got to know the regulars who worked the circuit.
Yep.
And one of them was a longtime listener of the show, Cosmo.
Yep.
Yeah.
This guy would build the most elaborate. We've talked about this before on the air. He built an enormous game of operation where he was the body inside the, and then he built a wall of urinals.
Yeah.
A wall of urinals.
You can't
You can't
move around and
But God bless him, man. He would win the contest all the time.
All right, I want to go to, we're going back to Westchester. I'm going to go to Matt. Hi, Matt. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, what's up, bud?
How are you guys doing today?
We are awesome.
So I didn't go to Westchester, but all 3 years that I did go to college, we would go to Westchester for Halloween because everybody knew that was the place to go.
Okay.
Yeah, we worked at Abercrombie at like the local mall, and then would dress up there, and then go to Westchester afterwards. Or like, I just clearly remember bouncing from like frat house to apartment to sorority.
Wow.
It seems like, and Kathy, you can concur with this, like it would lend itself to be a perfect Halloween town. It's a college town. It's got its own bar to bar spot you want to go to, or if you go to Fraternity Row or whatever, you're going to,
Yeah, we always dressed up for Halloween. Like that was, you didn't miss that.
You didn't even need to go inside. You could just walk around the street.
Yeah. You said you worked for Abercrombie? You're one of the shirtless dudes?
I was the manager. I hired the shirtless dudes.
Hey, Matt, so real quick, did you know anybody at Westchester, or were you just crashing these parties?
Some of the people that worked for us at Abercrombie went there. So
because I was thinking, like, you could easily crash Halloween parties, not knowing anybody. Because
if you're in a costume,
wear a mask, you're in.
Absolutely. No, we would just dress up and go there. I went to another school. I went to a high school in the area.
You were going to high school. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Matt. You know what? Thinking about it, Casey, me as a man in my 50s, if I wore the right costume, I could stroll into a college party, and like if it was a Jason thing where you're quiet all the time.
You get up to the door. Can I help you, sir?
Yeah.
Are you looking for your daughter?
Yeah.
Let's say you were.
You can just tell by the way I walk.
Yeah.
You saw my knee hitch.
Ow. Okay. Do you have any Advil? Or if you were happy, sir?
If you were in high school, you could sneak into a college party on Halloween easily.
Yeah, probably.
Some old dude is at the door.
Somebody's grandfather is here. Somebody's Gampy. Somebody's Gampy is at the front door.
I have...
He's dressed as Jason.
I have Ben. Hi, Ben. Good morning.
Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, buddy. What's up, my man?
So, in my early 20s, big group of friends, we all went as the Flintstones, and we couldn't decide like who was going to be what. Well, put this in perspective. I'm a 6'5", 300-pound man, so they decided I was going to be Bam Bam.
Bam Bam?
No, you're Fred.
You got to be Fred.
Yeah.
No, we did it on purpose because I was so big.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, there are some times you'll take the giant, the bigger person playing a tiny, doing the opposite. So.
Yeah, and then what they did was they got me like a child-sized costume, so it barely fit me. And then I was walking around with like the hammer, but it was like the size of like a spoon.
Oh, that's great.
It's very good. Very
Nice,
good.
man.
I saw one that I guess it's been around forever, but it's like 6 or 9 people, and they each have a roller coaster car that they're sitting in.
Okay.
And they're all in it?
And they're all synchronized. So they're holding up their hands.
Oh.
So basically, they're sitting in it, fake legs in front of them, so that it appears that they're fully seated in it. However, their actual legs are extending below it, so they can move it backwards and forwards in sync. It was actually really brilliant.
I like the idea of a group costume. I've never been a part of one. I think it'd be fun. I know somebody who went, they did the Village People, things like that are great. But the rule was anytime somebody would yell out YMCA, they'd have to go into the whole thing, no matter where they were in the party.
Because you have to put on the group
put
performance.
On the show.
Yeah.
My whole life, I have always wanted to do this. I was at a bar in Manayunk, again in my 20s, and this entire group walked in, and they were dressed as the different characters in the Thriller music video.
Oh, that's great.
As soon as the song came on, they had the whole thing choreographed. They cleared the floor of the bar. They did the whole routine. It was awesome.
Well, because no matter where you go, that song is going to play.
Of course. And the second they walked in, like Michael Jackson with the red jacket on, like you knew who they were. And of course, and they said every bar that we ended up talking to them, every bar they went to, the DJ saw them and played the song.
That's fantastic. What a great idea. Wow. Casey's doing the head twitch.
Hey, everybody.
All right.
Hey, we're going to Westchester.
And it's not that difficult of a routine to learn.
Right.
Well, it was at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Thank you for diminishing it.
Very technical.
Sorry.
Now you must look at my anus.
Oh, dear God. That took a turn. All right. Well, listen, great weather for Halloween, and enjoy no matter what you do. Try not to get into a fight like we've heard in costume or ever, but in costume as always. Although if you do, send us the video.
Oh, yes. And if anybody actually has videos or pictures of some of these things we mentioned, we'd love to see them.
I would really like to see Banana versus Edward Scissorhands.
Absolutely. If not, we need to make it into a movie. And also, if you can, avoid ending up in the tank in a costume.
Yeah. All right, we will take a quick break. We'll come back in a second. Some bizarre file stories are on the way. When we return, we have some guests as well. I'll bring you up to speed on everything that's happening. Stay put. We'll be right back.
Do you know what I'm saying? Where you're not always revealing stuff about you.
Oh, no. I mean, things that I like and things that are interesting to me aren't really revealing anything. And those aren't like deep personal issues that whether or not I like cuckoo clocks, I better keep that to myself or I feel exposed.
It's too personal.
Like I don't feel exposed.
Yeah.
But, I've also taken it upon myself and years ago, like I wrote a book and I put out a documentary that were about very difficult things in my life. And I think that the intention and hopefully the joy of that was to help others feel less alone that were in similar situations, whether it's grief or trauma or drug addiction or any of the things that I've been through. It's I like to share with people that there's an alternative way, and that it is possible to get past that stuff. And even though the demon of addictive behavior may be with you for your life, it's about channeling that addictive behavior into an area that can be healthy for you.
Well, yeah,
So,
I'm sober for 9+ years at this point, and I just know that it was important for me to see and interact with people who were living a sober life, a happy and content sober life. But then there were also other people that, like musicians, Trey Anastasio being one of them. I'm a fish head. He had been sober for a couple of years at that point. When I saw, I'm like, okay, here's somebody that's doing it. And I was able to gain strength through them. And so when you do that and you're outspoken about whatever struggles that you have gone through, there are people out there that really do hold on to that and gravitate towards that.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I would say is that, the company I'm running, Dual Diagnosis, is all about mental health. I put out a book that was about my drug addiction. I put out a film that was about my mom's death. It does resonate with a lot of people sometimes, if they've got similar circumstances. But, at the same time, I'm not a doctor. And so those people will come to me personally and say, I'm going through this and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, look, I already told you what I went through and how I dealt with it, but I can't advise, like a doctor would. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's, you need to find a team of your own. But I think that that's not the tough part. I don't really think there is a tough part to it. I think that as long as you're comfortable with who you are and what you've been through and that, behaviors can change.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's all we're doing. Like, I may not be doing drugs anymore, but now I'm in line at 1 a.m. at GameStop waiting for the next thing to come.
Dude, all right. Yes, that's exactly. That is the right way to think about it. We all have the same doctor. He's kind of he's on TV in here in Philadelphia, and he says, if I have to, I will write you a prescription for a video game because that's the stuff. To get that joy of something that doesn't have, like you say, you're not smoking crack. This is something you're into.
Something that's not going to kill you.
Exactly. That you can get passionate. Like, I love living through other people's passions, and it excites me to revisit my own. Your cuckoo clock thing, or just the different things you talk about. That to me is something that people, they sometimes seem reticent to allow themselves. Well, it's just crazy. Should I really collect that, or is that do it? Because we just don't think that way a lot of times.
Well, ultimately, we're all here for however long we're here, and we are ultimately going to dissolve into the universe or whatever happens.
Right.
So, do what you love, as long as it's not hurting anybody else or yourself.
Yep.
Like, there's really, that this life was given to us for us to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I really feel strongly about that. And frankly, one of the things that I enjoy about life most is being able to perform with this band, and like to come out and do that with you guys is what is that? The 25th, September 25th.
Correct.
I'm super pumped about that, and that's, I wouldn't be able to do that had I stayed on the path I was on.
Right.
So it's all, to me, it's all, this. I'm in the bonus round.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
I unlocked the little part of the game that allowed me to play in another room.
Yes.
I'm into it.
Dave, we're all excited about that as well. I wanted to ask, so every Tuesday we do a thing, it's called Tat Tuesday, and we give away a free tattoo every single Tuesday. And as a result, we used to do it here in the studio, and as a result, we've had several contestants and winners of Ink Master in our studio actually administering tattoo, which is really cool. Is Ink Master coming back to Paramount Plus by any chance? Do you know?
You know what? I honestly don't know. I heard that they were picking it up. That was the last I heard of it. The only thing that I can assume from not hearing anything is that they're rebooting it with a new cast. That's all I know.
That's all you know? All right.
In fact, I don't even know that because there's been very little dialogue. So I hear that Paramount Plus is going to pick it up. I guess they started a new streaming service.
Yep.
And, but I don't know. But I will tell you what's very funny about that is that Ink Master was a show that, it was on 10 years ago. It's hard to believe it was a decade ago that started, and we did 13 seasons. And then during the pandemic, Paramount sold a couple of seasons to Netflix. So now it's on Netflix, but these are old episodes.
Right.
But what that did was that opened us up to a whole new audience that had never seen us. And I started getting messages from people who were angry at me for certain people who got sent home 10 years ago.
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? Like they thought
it's
it
just
was
now. Yeah.
Fuck you for sending Josh home. He was the one. Like, how dare you? I'm like,
oh my
who's
God!
Josh? I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's great.
But people get very passionate about that. I hope that when you give out tattoos, is there one artist that you use, or is there a resident artist? Or
yeah.
There's a shop.
Yeah, we have one shop, several artists within that shop, and there's a guy named Troy here who is he's a big name in the tattoo industry in Philadelphia. Actually, he is responsible for a lot of the tattoo conventions all across the country.
Yep.
So he has a lot of guys and he's also super generous. So
do they get to decide what they are getting, or does it have to be a WMMR?
They do.
Logo
they have to include
on the throat.
They have to include us in there somewhere, and it can even be very, very subtle. That's all that we ask. So
right.
Yeah.
That's nice.
The rabbit in the Playboy cover. It can be very discreet. So yeah.
Some are more subtle.
Do you
than
want to know
others.
something funny about this? Do you see this?
Yeah. That's the Playboy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a quick story. I was doing an interview with Hugh Hefner, and Hugh Hefner was talking about how the bunny. Well, first of all, it started out. It was a stag. It was supposed to be a cartoon of a stag.
Okay, that makes
and
sense.
the night before the release, he couldn't sleep. And he got up in the middle of the night and called the designer and said, "I hate the stag. You got to come up with something else." So they scrambled at all hours of the night and landed on this bunny, which then became the most iconic thing, in terms of branding.
Wow. Huge.
And he went ahead to tell me that it is probably the #1 most tattooed logo of all time.
The Playboy bunny.
I believe it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so at that moment, I said, has anybody in the history of tattooing this bunny asked you for permission? And he said, no, actually, nobody's ever asked. And I said, well, then let me be the first. Is it okay with you if I get the bunny tattooed? And he said, absolutely. So I have the one and only Hugh Hefner sanction.
Wow.
I wouldn't have gotten this otherwise. But the fact that, what do I care? I'm gonna tell you. But the fact that Hugh sanctioned it and gave me the okay, and it's the only one that exists that's like that, was pretty special.
That's awesome.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty
That's
cool.
awesome. Excellent. Dave, we're really excited. Not only that you guys are playing the show, but that you took the time to join us on the program this morning. We really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to being out there. And are you guys going to be at the show?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. I would not miss your guys' set. So
We'll come back and say hello, will you?
Okay, for sure. Absolutely. Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Dave.
guys.
We'll see you in September. Dave
Pleasure.
Navarro, guys. How about it? Wow.
What a nice
He's
guy.
awesome. Super nice guy. And I bet you He could point to every single tattoo and tell a story like that as well.
What you're playing right here, I remember, Preston, when I first heard this song, I was like,
what's
whoa!
that? Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. After splitting from Kristen Cavallari after 10 years together, sources tell E.T. That Jay Cutler is on the celeb dating app called Raya.
This just in, Jay Cutler's on the dating app Soraya.
Psoriasis. Raya. No.
It's for people looking for other people with skin conditions.
That's cool.
Let's meet for some drinks and chafe together. Let's flake together.
Yeah.
And then I am on a site for people with vitiligo.
Oh, let's flake together.
No, I think it's like one that you have to be accepted into.
Raya. Is it one of these where you need
like some
you
sort
have
of
to be somebody?
Yeah, like
She's
notoriety.
right. Yes, in fact, it is the celebrity
notoriety.
Raya.
I don't know. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. Maybe it's Raya, R-A-Y-A. But
Who really cares?
His profile on Raya says, let's see here. He's here just for friends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Friends will touch your genitals.
You can diddle.
Yeah.
Who gets to decide whether or not you're a celebrity worthy enough to be on this website?
I think they have actually a vetting committee.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I believe that's the way it goes. And they will determine. Think of it as there's like a Steve Rubel standing in front of Studio 54,
right?
And they decide whether you're appropriate for this website.
So, well, listen, in honor of, was it International Geek Day? Or?
It's just Geek Pride Day.
Geek Pride Day.
Yeah.
I'd been working on an impression. You guys want to hear it? So, Steve, you do your Batman impression, but you have that...
processor.
You have the processor. Okay. I don't have a processor.
Are we supposed to guess what this impression is?
No, it's Batman. It's Batman.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, you ready?
Okay, yeah.
Please, keep that kryptonite away from me.
Is that a line he says in the movie?
No, please keep that kryptonite away from me.
You sound like Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
Oh.
It sounds like it hurts when you do that.
No.
Please keep that cookies away from me.
Because it's a Superman impression?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I've been working on it.
It's really good. It's really good.
I got it.
So it's a Superman impression.
I was confused why the whole kryptonite thing.
It's a terrible joke that I heard with Chuck over the weekend. You say this is Batman, but you obviously say Superman line, and then somebody says, that's Superman. And then you go, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like, that's Superman. I told Chuck, I said, dude, I'm going to hang myself out to dry next week.
Yeah.
But you did it, man. You took the bullet.
Are we on air?
Yeah, we are.
I think we're still on air.
In fact, Bill's coming down the hallway with an award for Casey. That was great.
That was amazing.
That's an immediate A+. That's like my joke. Good morning, Cincinnati.
He knows funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Please, keep that kryptonite.
Just don't do one that sounds like Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
Like the thanks man thing. I was like, I didn't even get that part of it. So sorry, man.
Nick got it. He was following.
I know.
I enjoyed every second of it.
And Bill's has that award in his hands.
Yep. By the way, somebody said we should make Bad Dad Joke Cookie Monster a character.
Thanks, man.
So you have to do all the dad jokes.
What was the last one I just did off air?
The thing is that it was not attempting a Cookie Monster,
wasn't.
but that became your default.
Take kryptonite away from me. Tell me, do you like cookies? Me too.
Me too.
Tonight, when you go back home, turn off the cookie light.
Tell me, do you like to eat cookies? Me too. Did you know that Mortal Kombat was it from Finland?
No.
What was the joke? I forget. It's something like... My mother was born in Iceland, and my father was born in Cuba. That makes me an ice cube. Mortal Kombat was based off of a Scandinavian song. It was a Finnish hymn. You get it? Finish him.
All right, I like Bad Dad Joke Cookie Monster.
Oh, man.
It's a thing now, Kat.
Yeah.
Kathy!
Wow.
Oh, God.
Anything to make you cringe, Kath.
Anything.
Pizza Hut seems to be trying to bring in new customers by reviving old menu items, and the latest is what they call the Edge, part of the chain's nostalgia campaign.
My name is Bono, and I'd like to introduce a new pizza sensation to you. It's called the Edge. Some people say this is a revolutionary pizza, but it's not. It's a pizza that's been here.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thanks, Kat. By the way, well, let's do the B file, and I'll mention something about Marissa tonight.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
You see, the Bizarre File is brought to you by Bud Light, and that means you can join Marissa tonight from 7 to 9. She'll be at the Bud Light Thursday night kickoff party at City Tap House in Logan Square on Halloween. You kidding me?
Nah, it's going to be awesome.
You're going to enter for your chance to win a pair of Eagles tickets, and that is courtesy of Bud Light. So join Marissa tonight at City Tap House, Logan Square. All right, we're going to start with a very tragic story. A mother and her 2 children have tragically died after jumping off Niagara Falls.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right? Police launched a desperate hunt to find the bodies of Keontae Means and her 2 kids, Roman Rossman, who was 9, and her 5-month-old Mecca Means.
Holy crap.
Yeah, they're believed to have intentionally gone over the guardrail at Luna Island on the American side before plunging to their deaths. Officers went to Goat Island around 9 p.m. on Monday night. They started to search for the mom. They later discovered all 3 members of the family were missing and believed they had fallen into the water below. A search was immediately launched with several rescue teams being deployed to the island, and no signs of bodies so far. The family are believed to have all lived together in Niagara Falls. So it wasn't like they drove from some remote location and with this. Yeah, so... the family, Keontae is a mom of 3, worked as a domestic violence counselor. Last February, a mom died after falling 90 feet into the Niagara Gorge with her 5-year-old son. The child survived that as investigators were launched into what may have caused the 2 to fall into the gorge. It was reported that they didn't believe that was an accident either. So
this was intentional, though, from what they gather. It's just horrifying.
Yeah, so we'll see if they find out, where they're located. All right, a lighter story, but still, what an idiot. A disgruntled former Disney employee allegedly repeatedly hacked into a third-party menu creation software used by Walt Disney World's restaurants and changed allergy information on menus to say that foods that had peanuts in them were safe for people with allergies.
What the hell?
Also added profanity to menus, and at one point changed all of the fonts used on menus to wingdings. The suspect in the case, Michael Schur, broke into a proprietary menu creation for Disney, and that's used to print menus for its restaurants. The complaint alleges that he did this soon after being fired by Disney.
Disgruntled, yes.
Using passwords that he still had access to on several different systems. According to the complaint, the menus were caught by Disney after they were printed, but before they were distributed to Disney restaurants.
Gee, I wonder why they let him go.
The complaint alleges that Schur repeatedly manipulated the menus to change prices and add profanity, but also made several menu changes that threatened public health and safety by changing the peanut allergy information.
Could have been lethal.
Employees at Disney initially became aware of the intrusion because all the fonts in the menu creator program were changed to wingdings. Wingdings are symbols instead of characters. And as a result of the attack, the menu creator system was impacted for a period of about 2 weeks. Manual processes had to be implemented to account for the issues. After that incident, Disney reset menu creator login passwords. Schur broke into several servers, which served as printer queues for Disney menus, and uploaded the files that were made to look identical to real Disney menus but had been slightly altered. He also allegedly locked at least 14 Disney employees out of their Disney accounts by trying to log into Disney's online account system thousands of times with a script, maintained a folder of personal information about 4 employees' homes, phone numbers, and relatives, and showed up at one of the victims' homes at night, according to the complaint. This dude's an idiot.
Oh, yeah. It could have gotten far worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they got him. A Milwaukee man accused of biting the fingertip off a person at a wedding pleaded no contest this week to charges of disorderly conduct and battery. Nathan Lanzi pleaded no contest before the court found him guilty on both counts. Police were dispatched to the club at Lac La Belle, a wedding venue, after receiving reports somebody had their fingertip bitten off. Once officers arrived, they located Lanzi, who was sitting on a couch with blood on his sleeve, which was not his. And there was also blood on the floor between the foyer and the bathroom. There were several people remaining inside of the venue who appeared to have been disturbed by the incident, including some who were crying. Investigators learned from one witness that there were two incidents. The first happened when Lanzi inappropriately touched another guest. Others at the wedding became upset with him, who became agitated and started to yell. He was then taken to a side room, closed off to the main ballroom. The complaint noted that the bride and groom tried to calm him down, which led to the second incident. A short time later, he became disorderly and started yelling again. Another witness told investigators that his behavior led to people asking him to leave the wedding, but that made him even more agitated, and he continued to cause a loud ruckus. And the first witness said that he told Lanzi if he didn't leave in 5 minutes, police would be called. He then allegedly started to lunge at him and was attempted to strike him. A scuffle broke out. 3 others pinned him down, and then he bit the tip off of someone's finger.
This is unbelievable.
The victim's injuries
want to stay.
were significant. I know, right? Approximately a half inch of the finger had been bitten off. The bone inside was exposed.
There you go. There you go.
They put the tip in a cup of ice. He was reportedly cooperative with investigators who said that he was highly intoxicated.
Oh, there you go.
Police wrote that Lanzi said he did not know what happened, but that everyone was grabbing him and someone put their hand inside his mouth, so he bit down.
I wouldn't do that.
He went to jail.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do one more story and then we will wrap it up. Let's see. Let's go with... here's a good one. So there was a lack of a hotel space in Colombia recently, the country, for the United Nations COP16 Biodiversity Conference. That left some of the delegates in a lurch when it came to lodging. So Robert Baluku from Uganda was one such delegate who was scrambling for accommodations until Hotel Deseos came to the rescue. Deseos. Deseos, by the way, means desires, and the hotel's decor instantly told Baluku why that name was significant. Motel Deseos is one of Cali, Colombia's hourly rate hotels where rooms came complete with circular beds, love machine, chairs, dance poles, and sex swings.
Hey, any port in a storm.
Bakulu described the accommodations as very unusual and very funny, and hotel management was willing to remove some of the quote-unquote furniture to accommodate 12 delegates for the conference at a price of $35 a night, by the way. So, yeah, they had to.
$35.
And that is what I have.
Pretty economical.
The bizarre file for you this morning. We're going to take a break. In a little while, about an hour from now, roughly, we are going to have 2 cast members of Alexander Hamilton, or Hamilton, I should say, but performing as Alexander Hamilton. Tyler Fauntleroy will be here, and performing as Eliza Hamilton, Lauren Mariasoosay, I think it's Mariasoosay. Mariasoosay.
There you go.
I'll get it if I can.
It's a difficult name.
They're going to be performing at the Academy of Music. So we have the 2 leads who are going to be here this morning.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. We're looking forward to it. So it is Halloween. We will continue with your Halloween morning entertainment. We'll come back.
Scared?
And I am scared. But we'll be back in just a moment. Make sure you stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
In your own big fat belly. Remember what we say here, avoid the noid.
That's Domino's. This is Pizza Hut. All right, so it's called The Edge, and
it's called The Edge.
Pizza Hut considers The Edge. It was first introduced in 1997, and they call The Edge a tavern-style pizza.
Oh yeah.
It's cut into 16 squares and comes in a cracker-thin crust.
I remember this.
Geometrically perfect and a taste sensation that'll rock your world.
And it will be available at participating Pizza Hut locations.
Order now and receive a mid-sized Coke.
Mid-size.
It'll be available at participating locations nationwide for about $13.
So I did Pizza Hut just not that actually that long ago. It was probably during Lent, and I did it because we had been talking about it. I'm like, I haven't.
You're a man of faith.
Well, I hadn't had a Pizza Hut pizza in a long time, so I ended up getting a regular pizza, and then I got the stuffed crust pizza. And I know that you guys are all out on stuffed crust. I thought the stuffed crust was.
You're a filthy animal.
I know, but I thought it was markedly better.
I'm not out on stuffed crust, but I just don't order it. You know what I
Too
mean?
much.
I know, and I
Why don't they just take a fire hose and spray cheese on you as you come in?
Right.
So this pizza, looking at it, I'm glad thin crust has kind of made its way around the country because I grew up in St. Louis. This pizza called the Emos. You guys know I've talked about it for years. That's what it is. It's just thin crust pizza.
Version of the Edge.
It's cut in squares. That's the way they've always cut it, and it's been since I was a baby. Essentially that that I've had that. So
Suckling at your mother's teeth.
I prefer this type of pizza. I'm glad that it's made its way around.
And so I don't actually ever remember this as a menu item. So
I don't
you
remember
guys,
this from Pizza Hut either. Steve.
I do.
I remember Domino's.
You do?
I do remember this, yeah, and I remember it because of like the way that they were able to cram as much pizza on as thin a crust as possible and get it all the way to the edge. Hence the name.
Well, this was kind of like you said, 97, right?
Yeah.
So like that was past at least my Pizza Hut days. I think the last time I had Pizza Hut, I was in like middle school.
You were not in college or ordering pizza?
Was the time at downtown Julie Brown.
Wubba, wubba, wubba.
No, Nick, you know.
Wubba wubba was the battle cry as they took to the pizzas. And the ovens flamed with the fires of edginess.
Wubba wubba.
So Nick, we had like the famous like pizza restaurant that we would go to in Westchester.
What famous pizza restaurant was it?
More's, I think it was called.
That's a mores. It's love.
We had Oips.
College towns always have the the local pizza joints.
Yeah,
That's fantastic. The one at University of Missouri was Shakespeare's, and it was outstanding.
Original Italian pizza, Oips. Everybody ordered.
Oips?
Yeah, original Italian pizza is what that stood for, and that was the college town pizza. Yeah, so but you wouldn't order from OIP. You'd from Oips. That's
I like
Oips.
that. Yeah.
All right, let me move on to something else. You had mentioned your mustard, Nick.
Yes.
You may want to try that on watermelon. It's the latest thing that people have been sampling. Lizzo kind of made a big deal about it on TikTok. So she had she made a video of her doing some funny TikTok things where there's some edits and all of a sudden the watermelon appears and so on.
So this to me, Preston, seems like the old thing of putting salt on watermelon.
Yeah, I grew up putting salt on watermelon. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But they had said it was to bring out the sweetness by adding the salt. And
I heard that on cantaloupe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. Kid.
Yeah, and I like them.
Any melon will do.
So here's the thing.
Doesn't matter if it's a cantaloupe or a honeydew or a cassava. Any melon covered in salt will bring out the sweetness of the savory. Living together on one melon the way we should all live together.
Now people are trying mustard.
Now they're trying mustard just like Lizzo.
Yeah, so, but the jury's out on whether she thought it was good or not. So she had called it, is it bussin' or disgusting?
Is it bussin' or disgusting?
But she never really...
Is it bussin' or disgusting?
In this video said whether it was bussin' or disgusting, so...
No, she doesn't. And I think, so the common thing of like sea salt and caramel.
Yes.
So to me, that does work. And some things that I thought would never work do work. I don't know about the watermelon and the mustard. It just seems to be too combating.
Yep.
I'm tying it into the previous conversation. We used to do mustard on pizza.
Okay. I can see that.
Did
I don't know. I'm not sure. Somebody.
Ranch dressing, Kathy.
Ew, no. That's just
You
for
said,
the,
"Ooh, no,"
that's
but
for
you
the
put-
crust, right? Or the whole pizza.
You can do the whole pizza.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
should-
I know.
we
I
should've
said
gotten
ew, no,
watermelon.
yet I put mustard on pizza. Sorry.
We should have taste tested this.
Casey, when's the last time you've had ranch
Ranch?
dressing on pizza?
It's been a while.
been a while?
At least like 2 or 3 days.
Okay. All right.
Do we have something that could approximate a melon and put some mustard on it?
Wait, I might. Let me see if I have.
Do you keep a melon in your desk drawer?
I might have
Kathy
watermelon.
brings a ton of fruit every day, remember?
Oh,
She brings
can we try
giant
that?
fruit salad.
Yes.
Go see if you have watermelon.
Yummy, yummy.
We'll try it.
Let's get it.
I'm sure
Kathy rises to the challenge.
there's got to be mustard in the fridge.
Yes.
Connor, can you go look in the fridge and see if there's any mustard?
Let's try it.
Or Marissa's already on her way. But yeah, I got to believe no matter what, it's not good. And this is just a thing that people have done to make you eat mustard on
Preston,
watermelon. Here, try this.
People are eating Tide Pods, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Here's a text. Somebody says, my husband always puts pepper on his cantaloupe.
What?
Interesting.
What, in prison?
No.
Oh.
But I've had, you know what? I've had fruit in salads before, and you put pepper. Like, there's strawberry salads and things like that.
Do you know what I
Pepper on
do?
that.
So, and it's a weird. So, Honey Grow, I do the like a sesame noodle. Whatever they call it. It's a salad, I guess it is.
Okay.
But pineapple in that. So something pineapple and sesame. And a sesame sauce work together really well.
I could see that work. Sometimes when you have like a teriyaki dish.
Yes,
there'll be
exactly.
pineapple in that.
That's the same thing.
Sesame oil in usually in that. So that'll play along.
It's great.
Let's see if Kathy is.
Jennifer melons. Where's Kathy's melons?
Hang on. Here we go.
They're usually on display.
Not in a non-sexual way. In the way she has a 44-pound.
We got it.
We do.
So you got watermelon. So we can try this. Should I just hold off until we get
Hold
this?
off.
All right. Because
Hold.
now we're in Braveheart.
Yeah, there we go. I got you.
Freedom! Do you want to live in chains, or do you want to live with salt on your watermelon? Ah!
Mustard.
My God.
It's a Friday.
It is a Friday. Isn't it?
I know. Wow.
Well, now I want to go watch Braveheart.
I think they actually
They're making love.
They're pounding the actual mustard seeds right
Pounding
now.
the mustard seeds. Pounding them out. 1 mustard seed. 2 mustard seeds.
Slapping them down.
Slapping them down. Slap at the base.
Now we've gone to I Love You Man.
Yes.
All right.
Here we go.
Wow, they eat plates and
I don't want it. I don't want to have
I will
dip
try
in.
it.
You don't want oh, yes.
I'm chewing tobacco, so I'm just trying to be healthy, guys.
Thank you, Marissa. That's
I don't want to sully the taste of the tobacco.
All right, so we have each have a small piece of watermelon, and we have a little dollop of mustard.
Do a dollop.
Is this regular yellow mustard, Marissa? All right.
Wait. Don't
What?
do it. Oh, I want to do a countdown. I'm going to get everybody ready.
Okay.
Oh, we're all going to do it at the same time?
Just like they do in a temple.
I'm going first. I'm sorry. You guys, hang on. That way I can talk while you guys are chewing.
All right.
And 3.
3.
1, 2, 3.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, you're not a fan? All right.
That's horrible. There's
No.
nothing appealing about that at all. Not in the slightest.
Well, maybe it was the mustard. Get different mustard.
No.
No?
No. It doesn't belong on watermelon. Kathy?
I do love mustard, though.
I don't mind
And I
it.
like watermelon.
I think it's two separate things that I like,
I
but
agree.
I don't have the reaction that you have that it was disgusting.
I think it has to be marketed as 2 great tastes that are horrible together.
There you go.
Wait, didn't your son make you like a peanut butter and tuna fish sandwich once because he knew that you liked both?
No, it was Gadzooks ice cream and shrimp. They were 2 of his favorite things, and he said they must taste great together. I let him learn that one on his own.
Oh, my God.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to bring this up because I don't know when I'll have another opportunity to do so, but Stevie sent me
Okay,
this.
fancy boy.
You sent me this article about the best brownies in Philly. And there's a lot of them. So there's Cake Life Bake Shop, Second Daughter Baking Company, Franklin Fountain, Dolce, Crust Vegan Bakery, the
love
Frosted Fox Cake Shop. What's that, Kath? What do you love?
Franklin Fountain.
Yeah, but you got to make sure you're either A, ready to wait in line, or B, get there at a time where there's not a line, because it's really popular. It's fantastic. It's so good. You guys ever been? It's right on.
I have not, no.
It's on Market, and it's great. It's really
Is it a bakery?
It's like an ice cream shop, like an old-timey ice cream shop. Yeah, and so you go in and they have really good ice cream and really good dessert treats. So it's worth it. It's just not cheap, and you got to wait.
Nick, a friend of mine did her wedding pictures there.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it was cute.
It's a cool spot.
All right. Cookie or brownie?
Cookie.
Oh.
Man.
I used to be brownie, but I feel like now I would do a cookie.
Okay.
I'd do a cookie.
If I saw them sitting out, I would go for a brownie anytime.
Yeah?
Really? Yeah.
I think I might go brownie.
Wow. Okay.
Because I do the chocolate chip cookie is my favorite. However, a well-made brownie. Also there's a company that actually of the companies that do mail order brownies. Fairy Tale Brownies is a great company. If you've ever used them, they have their top level brownies. But yeah, that's neck and neck. Brownies are sensational.
Brownie or cupcake?
Brownie.
Yeah, I'd go with brownie. But you're a cupcake?
Cupcake.
Okay.
The thing with the brownies, though, I feel like, and I don't know if it's like as I age, my sense of taste gets even more sensitive. I don't know. But like, I feel like if it's not super well made, I can taste like the mix
Really?
instead of
See, after you get a hysterectomy, that goes away.
Stop. I hate you.
I remember seeing the history of brownies and why they were created, and it was I forgot the name of the place, but it was so that people could, I think, take them to the beach or something like that.
Seriously?
And so the brownie has a thicker consistency than a piece of cake. Like the cake would be too crumbly and fall apart.
It's more cohesive.
And yeah, so there's a little more goo to it. In case if you want to have some of that.
Goo.
It's I need that sound clip from Billy Madison. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Ken. So I mentioned earlier, Marissa's going to be out tonight for the Thursday night Bud Light kickoff. And she's going to be at City Tap House, Logan Square. It's from 7 to 9. I have to believe you're going to be in costume tonight, right?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked. I don't know.
It'll be a last-minute decision.
Yeah.
All of us, though, Marissa always, I think, had some of the most well thought out costumes in the
Preston,
past.
I've kind of lost
the spark?
the zeal, the spark for Halloween.
Yeah.
See,
Thrill is gone.
The costume part of it, went away years ago for me, but the actual horror and the setup and all that is as big as it's ever been.
That took over.
I hosted one of these a couple years ago. I just found a photo on Halloween day, I guess whatever, the calendar lined up. And I was wearing like a Ghostbusters shirt. So I think like that was like, hey, I'm in work mode, but I'm celebrating the moment.
Right.
And I think as of recently, like maybe I've thrown on some like devil horns or cat ears or something.
You don't need a lot.
So maybe some representation, but
we have
not
a gimp mask here if you want one
costume.
I used to love Halloween so much.
Yeah.
I gotta find it again.
I think your best ever was the Kim Kardashian broke the internet champagne bottle.
Yeah.
Costume, it was amazing.
I don't know. Little Kim was good.
That was good too.
It was good.
Accidentally felt her up.
I did. I grabbed the chicken cutlet she was wearing over her boob.
Marissa, was the Kim Kardashian one, was that it? Shamaween?
Yeah. Maybe that was part of it. It always like stepped up.
I thought so.
You wore that to Parks Casino, though.
Yeah, because I never went to a Shamaween, and I remember that costume.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I wore it twice.
You
then.
probably did.
Yeah, it's too good to just do once.
There was a photo of Kim Kardashian, and she had her like butt popped out, and she had a champagne glass sitting on her butt.
Yep.
And then the champagne was in front of her, and they had a stream of champagne that went from her hands all the way to her butt, like a big rainbow
arc
of
over
arc
the top of her head. Yeah.
And so I used foam and
Brilliant.
a tube. And then I went around, which is one that I regret that because I saw costumes of it later and people use cotton and like a big piece of wire.
I
and I
think
was like,
yours,
that would have been so great and so much less messy. But this was pretty good.
I like yours, though. Looks damn good.
Yeah. So we're looking at a picture of this now. So, all right. Well, maybe tonight. Costume.
Yeah,
we'll
maybe
have
I'll
to see.
surprise.
So she'll be there tonight from 7 to 9 at City Tap House. There's your chance to win Eagles tickets and a bunch of Eagle swag. And they have $5 Bud Light drafts as well, and Bud Light Kelly Green T-shirts and koozies for you to win. So since it is Halloween, let us continue on with our discussion of this particular holiday in the form of
the scream of consciousness, nerd.
Yes.
Wait,
today I am the
scream of consciousness. Thank you.
I am the scream of consciousness, nerd.
Scream.
And I'm going to play a clip because there was a movie that explains the Halloween tradition, the quote-unquote holiday, as it were, and its origins. And it was from Halloween 3.
Season of the Witch, it's called. It was a box office bomb. I saw it in the theaters. I loved it when I saw it. It has now achieved cult status because people have rediscovered it. After Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, it was Halloween 3 with no Michael Myers. The idea was to make it kind of like a Tales from the Crypt anthology series where once a year a new Halloween movie would come out with new subject matter. And I loved it expressly for this purpose, Preston, that it explains the origins of Halloween.
All right, so hang on a second.
You can play it from there. I just I have to turn this computer on.
Our screen froze up on our digital editor here. Let me try this.
You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal. And the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires of turf. Halloween
The Festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. Sacrifices. A part of our witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment. It's not so different now. It's time again. In the end, we don't decide these things, the planets do. They're in alignment. And it's time again. The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it. And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
He was the same guy who played the company owner in RoboCop. Nice shooting, son.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Dana Hurley.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, so a little tip on the origins per that film. But I had a couple of other Halloween things.
Something to be aware of. Now, we were talking yesterday about the belief that a lot of these edibles that look like candy and stuff like that are something you should watch out for. But this, what you reported yesterday is actually it's kids getting into their parents or
their stash
at
home.
Yeah, is more likely the incidents.
Correct. So here's a big one you have to be careful of, and that is car incidents.
Yeah, that's
pedestrian crashes.
Huge. Yeah,
like it happens immediately before the sun goes down. I remember I had to run an errand. It was in the past couple of years, and I got out in my car to go, and I'm like, whoa. Like, I didn't even want to drive at all.
I'm hyper aware. So there has been the occasion on Halloween evening where we've got low on candy, and I had to run out. But when I'm driving, I'm like,
super slow.
My head is on a swivel because it's kids out. Now, they come to our house, and the cars will pull up and let the kids out. We fortunately have stop signs in all directions, so they're slowed down anyway.
Have to stop.
Yeah. You know, my neighborhood doesn't even have sidewalks, so that makes it especially.
Yeah, ours does has big wide ones, which is good.
How do you do for trick or treaters with no sidewalks?
They just walk in the street.
You still get them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now, like the neighborhood's turning over, so there's a lot more young kids. When we came in, there weren't that many young trick or treaters.
Just had a box of crackers and candy.
His neighborhood's different than yours. It has multiple streets in an
I know.
area.
I've been there before.
Yours is like one little road there, right? Or two, maybe.
I don't think I've ever seen your road.
We have like 200 townhomes right there. So you know what I mean? And that's where all the action is. Yeah. And like I said, I think they just don't come up to the corner.
You need crackers. You got to hand. Yes.
Crackers.
That'll bring them in.
Crackers.
Hey,
candy bars.
That house has boxes of crackers.
No, you know what I'm going to have?
Crackers and a box of candy bars.
A box of candy bars, too.
No, I'm going to have margaritas. That's what I'm having.
By the way, we should mention that the Carl call is now up on our Instagram account.
Yes, and Carl, we want you to call back. We had to cut that conversation short. I want to hear more about the crackers and candy bars.
I want to hear the full story. Carl is a character, and we as you said before, we love you.
Yes,
we want to talk to you.
We miss you.
If you know Carl, he lives out in the country somewhere. That's all we know.
He lives across from an old woman who has crackers and candy boxes.
Box of crackers and a box of candy bars.
All right. Also, another thing to keep in mind are pumpkin carving problems. Actually, there are quite a few carving-related injuries every year.
So here's the dilemma, and Kathy, you'll agree with this. To carve a pumpkin correctly, you need sharp implements. They will sell you these things in these kits that are safe. They don't do a goddamn thing.
I'm telling you, man, some of those are so flimsy,
super flimsy,
and they're cheap. They have the plastic handles on them.
They're horrible,
and they're not all that sharp, but they're sharp enough to cut you, and they can bend and break very easily. That's where you run into trouble.
Did you use the Sawzall bit? I mean, it's the same thing, but at least the Sawzall bits are stronger and not as flimsy.
Yep.
Jace had his friends over, and they carved pumpkins. Of course, I was like, do you want to carve pumpkins? You can have all your friends over. And they did all come over, and they all took part in it. They had
fun.
They had a great time, but it was a lot different than when they were younger. Like, I had like the stencils and everything for them. You can do this. No, they all just grabbed a knife and like made their it's on my Instagram. I laughed out loud when I saw all the pumpkins. Like, one had like giant eyes.
Yeah.
Jace's looks like they're making the face, the Casey facey. Like they just did.
I need to see this.
They just did their own, and it was really funny.
All right, so carving problems, that can be dangerous. I have good news. Carl is on the line. So we can go to him. Hi, Carl, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey! Carl, we really enjoyed our conversation with you last time. We had to cut it short because we had somebody calling in from Ireland. But thanks for calling back.
Well, I listen every day while I'm on my computer checking my emails and stuff. I'm retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where now? You said you lived in the country the last time we spoke. What part of the area do you live in?
I live in North Heidelberg Township, which is part of Berks County.
North Heidelberg Township.
Dude, I'll be out there this Saturday and Sunday. I'll be in Berks County for a rugby tournament. Let's meet for lunch.
You're north of Robosonia?
Robosonia is, and it's Robosonia. Robosonia. But anyway.
Sorry.
No crackers for you.
Halfway between Robosonia and Burnville on the old Robbie Burnville Road.
Okay.
So, Preston, can we get to complete on the story? Would you?
Well, yeah. So Carl, last time we were speaking about you have hardly anybody that comes by. You've had like 7 people since 1980 that have come by for Halloween and trick or treating. I did want to ask a question. Do you keep any crackers and candy bars handy just in case somebody might come by?
No. If the kids come by, I have a roll of quarters.
Okay.
That I give 50 or 75 cents, depending on the costume.
Oh,
I like your style because we've said that we don't like when you got to show up in costume. You have to say trick or treat, and if you're giving 50 or 75 cents, that's about the size. That's about the cost of a bite size or smaller candy bar.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair.
Well, my kids, my youngest just turned 40.
Okay. Your youngest.
What's he trick or treating as?
Well, but I'm saying back in the day, the woman that lived across the street, you couldn't wake up before she did. I used to go to work, leave my house at 3:30 in the morning, and she was out doing stuff in her yard, or like I said, her sons owned a garage.
Right.
She was hosing down the apron to the garage. So
hot.
They called her grandma.
Oh. Can I call you Pop-Up?
Because my mother had passed away the year we were married.
Oh, wow.
They only had one grandma.
Oh, yep.
Carl, quick question just about you personally. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
71.
71 years old.
And what was your occupation? You said you're retired now. What did you do?
I was a high voltage substation engineer.
Wow.
I designed high voltage substations all over the world. And I went to every job site in North America. I refused to go to the ones overseas.
Was it dangerous?
Well, no. I didn't want to go to India, and I didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia, and I didn't want to go to Egypt. So
you didn't go?
I didn't go.
Yeah.
You go where the crackers are.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the fella that filled up the candy machine at the garage,
right?
He would give the woman boxes of candies and Lance crackers, and nobody would come to her house to trick or treat. So we live so far out in the country.
Yeah.
How far? So you're are you literally like in a recessed like dirt road? I get this feeling that you're one or two houses out in the middle of the woods. Is that the kind of situation?
No, we have a
development. It's 10 homes on a cul-de-sac.
Oh, okay. All right, so you're not too far out, yeah.
No, well...
Well, I mean, you're out there, but you're not isolated.
It was a 57-acre farm.
Wow.
That was divided into 10 lots.
Okay.
And everything around us is farmland.
Hey, Carl, I have a quick question for you. Have you ever been to any of our events? And if not, would you like to come to Camp Out for Hunger this year?
It's a long drive.
Yeah. We could try to find a way to get you down there if you're up for it.
Well,
you don't have to.
It's okay.
Just think about it. And at some point, if you'd like to come out, we'd love to have you at an event and see you and meet you in person. People love your the initial phone call, and we felt bad because we were really enjoying it. We had to dump out to go to the. And by the way, we met a lovely young woman and her boyfriend who were calling in from Ireland. But we felt we gave you short shrift, and we wanted to have you back on.
When I was a scout leader years ago, the Boy Scouts do camp out, well, not camp out, scouting for food.
Yes. They do a big food drive, yes.
Okay, I live in the country.
Okay.
But my scout troop at our church had 83 boys. Big troop. And our troop alone used to do 4,000 pounds of food.
Wow. That's huge.
Okay.
What did the camp out raise last year, Preston?
Hang on a second. I've got that information around here.
4,000 is nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty damn
it's
good.
definitely a big one. But it's like over 1 million pounds or something along those lines.
It's the single largest, single sponsored food drive. Well, good for you for
1.7 million pounds
for being involved with that. So yeah. Listen, it's very cool. In fact, the stuff is up on social media. Clips of that original call.
Carl, question. Just I want to go back to you personally, if you don't mind. Are you married, or what's your status?
Well, I've been married to my wife in June 7th, 2025. It'll be 50 years.
Hey! Damn, that's awesome. 50 years.
Yep.
And the flame is still there.
I sent you a book.
You sent us a book.
How to make sauerkraut.
You sent us a book on how to make sauerkraut?
I sent it to you because your son tried to make sauerkraut.
Yes.
Oh,
that was so nice.
Carl.
I didn't know that was from you, Carl.
That is wonderful. You didn't know who that book was from? Oh, so now you know Carl. That's really cool. Thanks for doing that.
Hey.
All right, it's much appreciated, Carl. How to make sauerkraut. That's fantastic.
That's very
I love
cool.
it.
All
And he
right.
ended up making sauerkraut.
Let's make sure we get Carl's contact information.
All right, Carl, we're going to continue our Halloween discussion, but we are very much appreciative of you calling in this morning. And hang on, because should we need you for any wisdom that a 71-year-old might be able to impart to us, we'd like to be able to reach out to you, okay?
Well, I've been listening to WMMR since the Marconi experiment.
Yeah,
since the Marconi experiment.
That's fantastic.
God bless you, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Over 50
My
years.
sister went to Drexel, and she told me about this radio station that played rock music in the evenings. And I had built an AM radio.
You built your radio.
I built it.
Wow.
Oh, my God. This guy's brilliant.
And, well,
he's a high
I
voltage
was
guy.
10 years old.
Yeah.
He's an
And I
old
was
style
learning
cracker man.
electronics. So I built an FM radio, and I listened to WMMR in the evenings when they played rock and roll music.
I love it.
That's fantastic.
You've been with the station forever, and you actually built the radio. You listen to the station on. It doesn't get any more pure than that.
I can't believe there's anyone listening that could make the same claim.
No,
I built a radio to pick up this radio station.
Is Carl the ultimate WMMR listener?
He may very well be.
You may be king of the WMMR listeners.
Wow.
Well, I don't want to be a king. I just want to be a loyal listener.
Maybe one of the best lines I've ever heard is, I sent you a book about how to make sauerkraut.
And he did.
He did. How great.
I love it.
I mean, he built a radio. He knows how to make sauerkraut.
And you're right, Nick. His line is okie dokie. That's his sign off.
Yep. See you later.
Dude worked high voltage stuff. I mean, that's very cool. They're so real. I love that. Love that call. Love him. Love his whole approach.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the scream of consciousness, if we would.
The scream of consciousness.
I talked about the injuries, and we're not going to focus on too much more than that, other than you got to be careful carving pumpkins, being out on the street. Make sure your costume doesn't have any dangly stuff that you might trip over. These are some safety things.
Well, and also the old adage, they did a whole campaign years ago about costumes and masks with no peripheral vision.
Yes.
You got to make sure you can see out of them.
Yep. All right, so how about this? This is according to Gunther Volkswagen, a car dealership in Delray Beach, Florida. They've asked 3,000 drivers about the most haunted streets in America and
That's
roads
Gunther Volkswagen
that you steer clear of after the sun goes down. And the most haunted street in the U.S., according to this, is New York's Route 9, which runs through Sleepy Hollow.
I've been to that area up in the Catskills. And Kathy, I don't know if you have it, living in New York for many years. There are people in that area who embrace all of that, all of the myth, the legend, the lore. A lot of the natives to the area, a lot of people have never moved out, and that all feels real to them.
Steve, our friend Christine that works at Trinity Rehab, she and her husband were going up there to specifically celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
So the whole town, there's, the Headless Horseman comes riding through town. And I wanted to get pictures from her because it sounded awesome.
It's a really quaint area, and it's kind of especially it's a lovely area around this time of year.
Yeah.
Now, not on this list is
Salem.
Salem. Have you been there?
I've been to Salem.
Okay, what's that like?
Salem's great too. Salem has it's made an industry out of the witch trials and so on and so forth, which were a lot more brutal and cruel and evil because of what the girls were doing.
Yeah.
But it's a little nicer than Sleepy Hollow in that general area, but it's similar.
I do think that the Northeast have the scariest ghosts. I'm not as scared as other ghosts. Like, I just looked at your number 2. I'm like, ghosts from that area? That doesn't do anything.
Well, hang on a second. I do want to ask you. You had mentioned that it was what the girls were doing was more evil.
A lot of it was based on and they explain the story up there. The girls, after a while, who were accusing people of being witches, were doing it in a vindictive way.
I thought you meant the other way around, that the accused were doing horrible things. But the accusers.
The accusers.
Yeah, it was a messed up time. Casey, the second one is in Georgia.
Yeah.
Old Ghost Road in Brooklet, Georgia.
And by the way, that's where you learn of the old methodology of determining if someone was a witch was the dunking stool.
Yes.
So if you drown them and they survive, they are a witch.
Okay.
And if they died, good for you. You're not.
Hey, Casey, so you don't think that down south can be scary, like up in the Northeast?
Not ghost-wise, no.
No?
They're more like gentleman ghosts.
Yeah.
You're thinking you like the more gothic.
Yes.
So, and I think that's cool. But down there, if you go if you go to New Orleans or you go to some of the estates, the plantation estates.
Mm-hmm. There are other things that I think the South is good for, and I think the perfect depiction of that is the feeling that I had watching that first season of True Detective. Because that was set in some parish in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And, I think just regular everyday living, like real life people, that's more
That can be scary. But you also cross over into voodoo. You cross over into other stuff, you know, which is pretty wild. Witchcraft.
Here's some texts that are coming in. Somebody said Cozart Road in Chadds Ford is scary. There's a creepy road in Pennsylvania called Devil's Road in Chadds Ford.
Is that the one where the trees all grow outwards?
Oh. Yeah, and it turns out we went there. We did our own investigation.
Yeah.
It turns out that they are trimming them because of the telephone lines, the power lines in the area. And supposedly they all grew away from this haunted house, from this possessed
because
house.
of the evilness.
And we're looking at it and like, no, they're just trimming the trees so they don't interfere with the power lines.
There is Gravity Road.
Oh, we had Gravity Hill. Is that
right?
what?
Same thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's an optical illusion.
Yeah. We had that.
The car appears to roll uphill.
I've always wanted to see that in person. Did you?
Yeah, we all did it as kids. Yeah.
Did it look like the car was rolling uphill?
I mean, it freaks you out.
Okay.
Absolutely. I don't even really understand it. I don't understand how it works.
Okay.
I forget. You can do a quick research on it.
So I have a theory on how that works, and I think it's that
ghosts.
No, you're on a hill that's on a hill. All right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
All right. So the hill that you're on is going up. And then the bigger hill that you're on is going down, or vice versa, or whatever.
Yeah, I get the basic gist. I still need to see it to understand it. It's got to be visual for me.
You put the car in neutral, and the car goes up the hill.
Right. Yeah. So I got to see.
Demons are pushing.
And I believe where we went was Hollicong Road in Buckingham. I believe that was the Gravity Hill we used to visit.
There was one in my area. It wasn't Gravity Road, but something different that we called Zombie Road. That was supposed to be. But it was more so scary in that it was a closed off road and that like people lived in the woods. No, it wasn't.
People always live in the woods.
Well, I mean, they were supposedly
evil people,
bad people, and so we'd get hammered and go out there and walk down it at night, which was stupid. I did that a couple of times.
They're out near Valley of Fear. Is a road, and it always screws with GPS, and it has a very, Shirley Jackson, that sort of feel to it. It just has an evil look to it. And the trees along the way are dead.
Okay.
On one, so it just has an evil look to it.
Nick pulled up a Wikipedia account for Gravity Hills and Gravity Roads. It looks like hundreds and hundreds of them.
I mean, they're all over the world. There are probably 100, 150 just in the U.S.
Okay.
What was the name of the place? And we did our own investigation early on in the radio career, Preston, where the inverted crosses supposedly in the windows around.
I think it was the same place where we were looking at the trees.
It might have been the same place. No, and maybe they're going away from that house.
I think that's what it was.
Okay,
people said that the trees grew away from the house. And
they were just being trimmed for the power lines.
In the Appalachian Trail, there's Superstition Mountains. None of these are in our area. In fact, they're all New York, Georgia, Arizona, Louisiana.
Oh, they can suck it.
That was
New Mexico, Iowa, Oregon, or back in Oregon, by the way.
It goes to Jimmy.
Back home to Oregon.
And
I'm a ghost.
Mississippi.
But you said Appalachian Trail. It was not Appalachian Trail, because that's in Arizona.
Oh, I'm sorry, Apache Trail. I misread
Thank
that.
you. You missed that. I was like,
the Apache Trail, Superstition Mountains in Arizona, apparently is one of the more haunted locations, and you'll see people do the Apache dance.
Yeah,
when you go by there. I don't have time to get to that whole thing. So, let's see. So those are some interesting things to think about. We're doing the Scream of Consciousness, Noor.
The Scream of Consciousness, Noor.
We got to wrap it up here.
Yeah, you can do maybe one more.
Let me do one more. Scream. Well, I'm going to do two more because this one's short. The Stranger Things house is now an Airbnb, the buyer's family home.
Right.
And that's in Georgia. That's in Fayetteville, Georgia.
And they've gussied it up to look like the interior for the show.
Yeah, because it was used for the exterior of the 3 seasons. It was a small, kind of ratty house, if you remember.
Like a small ranch house. Yeah.
It's been revamped as a Stranger Themes rental, and the new owners designed the property as an immersive escape, including iconic features like the Christmas lights, Alphabet Wall, and recreation of Jonathan's room and stuff like that.
I love that whole concept in season 1 with the lights where Winona Ryder who appears to be out of her mind, but once those Christmas lights go up and you realize, right?
It was so cool.
Good.
Yes.
Let me ask, because I know that you hate going through haunted houses, but you love escape rooms.
Yeah.
What if there was a haunted escape room?
No. See,
Yeah.
here's what I don't like. I don't like jump scares. I don't like to be startled. Now, if there's creepy motif and stuff like that, I'm all about it. But I don't. This is why I quit doing our haunted tour, because I got talked into going through one of the haunted houses, and I don't like people jumping out.
Oh, yeah.
And it bothers me. I don't like it. I don't like it. I tried to tell you people.
Yeah. And I can tell you this. When people give you guff about, I saw you go through a number of haunted houses that were haunted scenarios.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, there's a vivisected body on the table.
Yeah.
The ones you clearly and made it clear you did not like were the jump out at you things. So it's not like you can't go in them.
Right.
You just have your preference.
So jump scares are to Preston as Captain Jack Sparrow is to Steve.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah. No, you're not.
All right, one more scream of consciousness nerve. Archaeologists have unleashed grisly new information about how a real-life vampire spent her final moments. They call it an elite female vampire.
Oh, yeah, they carry a special platinum card.
Who died some 350 years ago, was first unearthed 2 years ago at a medieval graveyard in Poland, dubbed Zoysia by researchers. That's a kind of grass, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
New illustrations of what the 18-year-old vampiress might have looked like suggest that she had fair skin, blue eyes, short hair, and a single protruding incisor tooth.
A single one. I like when they depict vampires like that. The front two fangs, or the Mr. Barlow in Salem's Lot has that kind of vampire configuration.
I like the idea of just one in the middle, one spike.
Perfect for
cool.
opening up clams.
So her rank wouldn't save her from being accused of evil. Of about 100 other skeletons at the gravesite, only Zoysia was covered with a sickle across her neck and a giant padlock on her toe.
So the idea was, were she to raise her body, she would behead herself.
That is correct. Yes. According to Professor Polinsky, he said it can be assumed that for some reason those burying the woman were afraid that she would rise from the grave. Perhaps they feared she was a vampire. Experts believe that the sickle and padlock were fitted to the corpse as a form of double protection for villagers out of fear that the vampire could rise from the grave. The sickle would ensure that she would be decapitated. It was not laid flat, but placed across on the neck in such a way that if she got up, it would most likely have cut off her head or injured her. And they worked with a facial recognition expert to recreate what she may have looked like, and they found an abnormality in her breastbone. The abnormality suggests that there might have been a physical deformity that caused her great pain and, quote, listen to this, marked this person to others in a negative way, being a reason that she was feared to be a vampire before she was sacrificed and buried. So this is way back when.
Right.
And she just had probably some sort of
Chronic
physical
pain.
deformity.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Vampire!
Kill it!
Well, that is what happens if
Back
you
in
are.
the day.
You know what? You're a little different, and we've decided we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating how these different vampire and vampiric legends come about. I've talked about this before. In China, their version of a vampire follows your breath, so they can't really see, but if you hold your breath, they can't see you.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So,
I like that.
but that's what they hone in, and they also hop. They actually, a la a kangaroo.
Wow.
That's how they come after you.
There's all kinds. If you go through folklore about legends and like chupacabra and things like that, there's some that you may have never heard of before. They have really kind of cool. Like, have you ever heard of the Wendigo before?
Absolutely,
That's in the Northeast.
It's an RV that'll see.
No, that's a Winnebago.
Okay.
But the Wendigo is like this giant Native American based entity that has like moose antlers, and it's
Why don't you forget
about the moose for a moment?
Yeah.
And like,
Why don't you forget the moose?
You like eat your soul and stuff like that. There's some really cool, creepy things out there.
Does it have green glowing eyes? Because the reason I ask is when I stayed in the Grand Canyon, the last night we were there, my cousin wakes up in the middle of the night and he just sees his tent walking away. And he thought as he was saying, somebody's perpetrating on me right now, but he saw green glowing eyes as the tent was being let, and the tent was gone. So when we were up the next morning, it was
some
gone.
sort of feral animal grabbed the tent and ran.
We're not really
or a
sure.
chupacabra,
maybe,
or a Wendigo,
or the Jersey Devil on vacation.
It was on 2 feet, so it wasn't like it was being drug away by a ram or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jersey Devil legend is great. It's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
So on this Halloween, maybe do a little search on folklore.
Hunt for a few of these things.
Local demons and whatnot. You might find one in your neighborhood you didn't know about.
Yeah.
You guys could meet up for lunch.
Might have a box of crackers in the basement.
or candy bars as well. So
Box of crackers
Yes.
and a box of candy bars.
thank you, Carl, for calling in, by the way. All right, we have to take a break because our next guests are here with us this morning, and they are starring in the Academy of Music, the production of Hamilton that is taking place.
Who doesn't friggin' love this musical?
So we'll take a quick break and come back with our guests in just a moment or two. So stay with us on this Halloween morning. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve.
The thing about a brownie for me is that the cookie is a little more pedestrian, right? Like a cookie is sort of an everyday dessert, whereas the brownie
All
is
right, fancy boy.
right? Yeah, I feel like a little bit of a fancy boy.
You're too good for Billy.
A fancy Nancy, if you will. When a brownie shows up, I'm like, look at that little treat.
Look at Nick with his little waistcoat.
Thank you.
No, I understand that. I think though that they're easy to make. Brownies,
right?
Brownies are easy to make. Brownies are super easy to make. They're just as easy as cookies. I'm standing firm on this. Cookies are far superior than brownies. Far superior.
Oh,
and there's a reason why there's more of them, and it's more because they're better. They're just better. And it's not to say that brownies aren't good. They're good. They're just not as good as cookies.
I think they need more of them to make up for the fact that they're not as good as brownies. They say, hey, we have diluted the market with this product, and we're going to try to catch up to the brownie people.
I think the tough part about, and the reason there are more cookies is because, and if you're talking like when you go to the grocery store, cookies are more rigid. They're easier to package. You can put more of them together.
Yes.
Brownies can kind of... there's a shelf life on them. Some cookies can last for a while.
Brownies don't
Chips
have
Ahoy.
that luxury.
No.
And even if you do the brownie bites, which I think are sensational, brownie bites do have that preservative taste to them.
Let me ask you a question. Why do brownies have to be as thick as they are? You can kind of cut them in half first, right? Before you cut them into their little squares and stuff like that. You could essentially cut the tops and the bottoms
like a piece of brownie cake.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with your damn brownie.
Yeah. I don't know. Make thinner brownies.
Yeah.
At your home when you make them.
Yeah, our brownies are usually pretty thin anyway.
Yeah, okay. You okay? You all right?
I'm fine.
Everything good?
You guys, Steve.
What?
You cut me deep here, man.
How did I cut you deep?
Because you went with brownies over cookies, and I thought I knew
He feels betrayed.
I thought I knew.
I love chocolate chip cookies, but if I have if there is a listen, they're right neck and neck, but I do love a damn good brownie. But chocolate chip, they're
It's like Godfather 1 or 2, Steve.
Yeah, it changes from time.
Goes from time to time.
Absolutely.
You lean one way or the other.
All right. Goo!
All right.
There it is.
Now he's got it.
I got it.
There's more goo in a brownie. All right. By the way, Steve, this list of brownie places, what's the
I was
source?
in the Inquirer.
The Inquirer.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The Inky.
You can go on and find a list of great brownies, if you will, if you check the Inquirer's website. All right. What?
What?
Okay. Let me go to Mario. I was going to wrap up there. Hey, Mario. Good morning.
Oh, he put on his glasses. He can't see without.
Exactly.
What's up, dude? Casey wanted me to talk to you.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Hey, cookies are way far superior than brownies. You can eat so many more of them. There's different kinds of textures. There's only so many things you can put in a brownie.
You don't need to. It's perfect.
I'll tell you what the deal is, Mario. It's when you see a plate of freshly made brownies and freshly made cookies, you know you're more likely to encounter freshly made chocolate chip cookies. At least I am. But a brownie is like, oh, we don't get brownies a lot. I'm going to go for that first.
Look what showed up.
Right.
Yeah.
I will
there we
agree
go.
with that. I would agree that it will be like a special little treat, but I will also say that if there's a freshly made plate of cookies or brownies in front of me, I'm going for them cookies first.
So I'm going for the brownies because I don't know when I'll get another shot at those brownies.
That's right.
That makes sense.
Carpe diem, man.
Carpe diem.
I appreciate you coming to the phone call. I just want to say I'm a cookie lover.
All right, Mario.
I mean, you can enhance a
You're not
brownie
wrong.
by putting a cookie in it. You can enhance a cookie by putting a brownie in it.
No, you absolutely can.
No.
I've had brownie cookies.
Yeah.
I don't even know
you've
what
had
that
cookie
means.
brownies.
Putting a brownie in a cookie?
Yeah, you don't do that.
But I've never heard of putting a cookie in a brownie.
You've never heard of a blondie, bro?
No. Well, you know what? I have heard of a blondie. I just didn't know what that was.
It's cookie brownie.
Okay. It's cookie brownie. A man who purchased Gwyneth Paltrow's viral "This Smells Like My Vagina" candle from Goop says it exploded, and he's filing a class action lawsuit.
Candles do sometimes explode. You've had stories about that, right? Have you ever had one explode, Kathy? Or at least I had one like pop and melt immediately.
Oh, okay. So no, like I've seen you. No, I don't burn candles in my house. But I've seen it burn all the way to the bottom, and like there's just a little bit. It's just liquid at that point, and then it shatters the glass.
Okay. Well, this splattered vagina all over the walls.
Vagina, quite to the morning, masters. Vagina falling, crashing. Vagina falling to the ground.
Oh, they had a reporter on the scene.
Vagina catastrophes I've ever seen. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I can't compose myself. There's vagina everywhere. People trapped into huge labia. It's disgusting and a mess. It looks like deli meat strewn across the field here in Vegas, New Jersey.
Hair all over the place, and
There we go. My effects. There we go, sir. I can't. My effects. I'm so distraught.
You've been pulled into a time continuum.
I can't. I don't know what's. Oh my God.
Wouldn't it be great if field reporters did have a battery of effects?
Yeah,
we should encourage that.
Sad time here out on the street.
Yeah. So according to legal documents obtained by the site,
And the vagina's not quite to the mooring mast. Oh my God! It exploded! It's burning! It's crashing, falling to the ground, falling! People jumping out! They're actually climbing down pubic hair to get down to the ground!
How big is this?
this is the largest one in the world at that time.
And the majestic vagina coming over the New York skyline.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God!
It's burst into flames.
Oh my God! It burst into flames! Huge vagina on fire! The magnificently falling, crawling, crashing to the ground! People jumping out, hanging off the pubic hair! Somebody is jumping! Oh, fortunately, a piece of the labia is falling down and slipping as a mat as people jump down! They're falling onto the mat!
There's one large rope hanging out of it, actually. Yeah.
So thankfully, a matted pubic hair is serving as a rope ladder for those trying to escape the fire.
Oh my God! All right, so Colby Watson says he purchased the 10.5 ounce vagina candle online in January. He claims he lit the candle for the first.
Is it possible that he lit the wrong side? That he lit the butt side?
I don't know. Then the first time, turn it around.
Oh yeah,
It's a little joke, right?
Yeah, well, the methane is back there.
He claims he lit the candle for the first time the next month. All right, so I've seen a new ad on social media for this erectile dysfunction.
The one that delivers to your home?
It's like it's you put it on your unit.
No.
Have you
No.
seen this thing?
No.
It looks like
What are you taping a pencil to your dong?
No, dude, not a pencil. It looks like almost like this horseshoe-shaped thing that comes almost to a close at the end. I have not really watched the commercial, but it appears to be like a C-ring that you put on.
When you said that, that's what I was thinking.
Right?
Yeah. So that the way strippers at like Chippendales will puff themselves up with
Right, and then tie it off
close
essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that's what this is. If
Hire
anybody,
Wilford Brimley for the Wilford Brimley C-ring.
No matter what size the good Lord gave you, the C-ring is adaptable.
If
If
anybody,
you order right now, we'll throw in a bamboo steamer.
if anyone has seen this and has watched the ad and wants to comment or bring me up to speed on that, please. give us a call, 215-263-WMMR, because...
Did you hear that Jerry died? I'm so sorry. What happened? He was trying some sort of new C-ring and he hemorrhaged.
Nick is pulling
Is this it?
No, that's not it.
No.
That looks like one of those things you throw against a wall and crawls down. What do they call those things?
The creepy crawlies? Wall crawl?
It's got little
Wally crawlies?
It's Steve. It looks like it's got
Is that a C-ring for
French
that?
ticklers on it.
In case you're banging against the wall?
No, it was really weird.
I don't doubt it.
And
I've
then
seen
I'm
a lot
like,
of.
why are you targeting me with this? Why is this advertising heading to me? What's that all about?
Well, it's like when your mail from the local like funeral parlors and cemeteries is addressed to you by name.
Here it is, Nick.
Eddie?
Eddie.
ED has become Eddie.
I get it.
Meet Eddie, the wearable device aiming to optimize, your situation. So see what I mean? That it's shaped kind of like a horseshoe?
Yeah.
And I guess
I'd like to play horseshoes with that.
I guess you're supposed to get yourself excited and then strap that thing on. I have no idea.
So you're tying off so that you're.
That's what it seems like to me, Steve.
That's what a C-ring's purpose is.
Does it?
It's not to get engaged.
Here you go. I'll read the information. Eddie is the first of its kind wearable FDA Class 2 erectile dysfunction device. Manufacturer Giddy maintains that its unique ergonomic design improves upon current devices by working with the natural physiology of a unit where it's so funny.
You have to paraphrase.
It's so funny I can't say erection.
Yeah.
Where rings and constriction devices can actually work against it.
I swear by it, says B. Arthur.
It says here, Chloe Kent takes a closer look at how Eddie works and asks if it's truly an improvement upon the market's current state of affairs.
Preston, $298 for a 2-pack on Amazon.
What? Seriously?
No.
Look, $298 for a 2-pack. 2-pack.
Medicals.
Maybe they should get into it.
How do they charge you so much?
Eddie by Giddy.
Yeah.
Device for dysfunction proven effective. No pills, comfortable design, medical grade construction. Well, you need that.
All right.
Is it? All right, hang on.
You have to nail it on.
Well, no. Is it a one-time use only, or?
That's what I don't know.
No.
It's $298. There's no way, dude.
Does it say washable anywhere?
That has to be if you've multiple use. That's the kind of thing you can go halvesies on, Nick.
From the Red Hot Chili Peppers, please welcome Mr. Chad Smith.
Yeah.
To the show. Good morning, Chad. There we go.
Yeah, just people in there just hired just to clap loudly.
Yeah. That's what I do.
That's it. Yeah.
That's us. Yeah.
Gotta have clappers, man. Yep.
How do I get that gig?
Hey, Chad, I wanted to ask you, man. So Stone Harbor is where this is going to be. There have been sightings of you at the Jersey Shore before. No? What do you mean no?
I've never been to the Jersey. Tell me about the sightings. This sounds good.
Are you serious? We have heard there's somebody that looks like
it
you,
has to be
that people have sworn up and down that Chad Smith haunts.
Well, we all know who that is now. Don't.
Will Ferrell out there?
Some other dude, some other really good-looking guys out there too.
I have not been to the infamous Jersey Shore. This is my virgin experience. So yeah, what should I expect?
Well, it's beautiful. Stone Harbor's a gorgeous area, first of all, that you're going to be in. And it's just, you're going to be down there for Memorial Day weekend. So, in fact, that part of the state actually weighs more than any other part of the state this time of year because everybody's going to be flooding down that way. But it's just people dying to get out and enjoy summertime. So that's the kind of vibe you're going to be digging on.
Beginning of summer. And what a summer to start beginning, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're also dealing with the fact that restrictions are getting relaxed, and people are, as the vaccinations are going out and things are becoming more normal. I think you're going to get a very exuberant response from your art collection. And how long has this been a thing for you? Because obviously you have the artistic outlet of the music, but a lot of times, people like to dabble in other stuff. How long has this part of your life existed?
Well, I would say I've been doing this particular thing about 5 years now. And this company called Scene 4 in Los Angeles approached me and it was really their kind of idea, saying, look, here's how they presented it to me. We would like to put you in a dark room, completely dark, with these light up fluorescent drumsticks of different color, and have you improvise a solo or do whatever you want on the drums, and we're going to photograph you at different angles with different shutter speeds. And people that know about photography, the shutter speeds, slower, faster, make things blurry, and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, you can change the color and you can manipulate it on different canvases and do all kinds of modern post-production stuff. And, how does that sound to you? And I was like, it sounds pretty cool. It sounds psychedelic, and it's a connection for me from music and drumming, which is obviously my passion and the first thing that I've been doing since I was a little kid. And so it made sense to me in that way. So, that's what we did. And that was about 5 years ago. And then I have a second collection. It was so much fun. I did it again. And this time, though, I started adding afterwards in post-production. I really wanted the power and the energy and explosiveness of how I was trying to portray the drumming to pop out on a flat surface, which is really
3-3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kath. Our next guests are performing in the show Hamilton, which is at the Academy of Music as we speak. And while they're here, this particular group that's putting on these performances are going to hit their 100th performance.
That's wild.
Which is pretty amazing. And we have two of the leads joining us today. We would like to welcome, as Alexander Hamilton when you see him, Tyler Fauntleroy is here.
Yeah.
And as Eliza Hamilton, we have Lauren Mariasoosay who is here as well. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Philadelphia. And you guys had a show last night, right?
Yes.
How was the performance? How did it go?
It was great. It's so amazing to be here in Philly. These audiences are amazing.
They're amazing.
It seems to be a rabid audience. Well, listen, it's the musical itself is no question about the success, about the show. But I think in particular, whenever Hamilton, I think this is the third pass through, there is a buzz. There are people, everyone is like, I got to make sure I go see it. So it's got to be... I think it has to be two things: satisfying for you as performers in it to know that's going on, and then also, is there a little bit extra pressure because we got to deliver for Philadelphia? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, even just like all the history that's here.
Yeah,
it's a different kind of arena when we're in a city that's super important to history as well. So,
There's a DNA that attaches to it.
Well, yeah, there is. And you have to think about this like, and I was thinking about this as I was at the performance last night. We're here in the cradle of liberty, and some of the people that form this country, their descendants still live here. In fact, we work with a girl, and she is married to one of the descendants of John Quincy Adams.
Oh, wow.
And so when they were having a baby,
crazy.
I was like, I didn't know this because I was like, oh, do you have a name picked out for the baby? And she's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be John. It kind of has to be John. And I was like, well, why? And I'm like, wow, yeah. And so I was wondering, like, how many descendants do we still have here living in the Philadelphia area?
Right.
And
are they going to buy tickets is the question.
It was a packed show last night. And last night was the second night. And how was it opening night as well?
Yeah, same.
And you guys have a show tonight on Halloween as well.
We do on Halloween, but the audiences have been actually amazing. They're so excited to be there. You can feel that energy even when you walk on stage.
What I experienced last night was the first time, and I've seen a lot of shows, either here on Broadway or whatever. The guy behind me was singing along with all the songs, and it didn't bother me. I wasn't like shut up, because he was singing at least at a level where
a respectful level.
A respectful level, but he was just, like the people, the fandemonium for this show is through the roof.
I was reading about you, Lauren, that you wanted to really learn, like you were listening to the music before you ever joined the cast. I mean, like you wanted to, you had a specific way you wanted to approach Hamilton because you knew the weight of it. When you're approaching a show, you've been in Aladdin and Cats, and so you've done a couple. Is that process common to you? Is that how a lot of people perform it? Like you go, do you go in and hit the ground running, or you do just tons of absorbing of the culture and everything ahead of time?
Sometimes it's just a little different. I knew with Hamilton, I had never seen the show until after we blocked the entire thing and ran through it. I'd never seen the show live, and I wanted to make sure that I played Eliza in a way that was genuine to me and in a way that I had never seen anyone else do it. So that way it was different and it was original. I didn't want to copy anyone. I just wanted to bring something new.
Lauren, when you were auditioning for a role in Hamilton, did you say anyone but Peggy?
No, we love Peggy.
I love Peggy too, but I mean, come on. She's like hardly in it at all. And Peggy.
Sweet girl.
And Peggy.
She's got a bigger job to do. She's got to be Mariah in Act 2.
I know. Usually that's the way, playing two roles. Are there other people? Are there multiple roles with your cast for this particular version of Hamilton? Because I know they did that on Broadway. A few different people played a handful of different roles.
Yep.
Well, look at this one right here, actually.
Yeah. It's funny, yes, but there's like our Lawrence Phillip is the same person. Our Peggy Mariah is the same person.
All right.
But that's still a thing that is kept with the conceit of the show and casting.
And you've had to do that too?
I used to, I came from the Phillip company before I joined the Angelica company, this company.
Okay.
But I was Lawrence Phillip over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Until about halfway through this year, then got asked to join as Hamilton full time.
Is that a unique thing to be able to get? So you're playing one character, and then you come in and you sort of have learned the motivation and history of another.
Mm-hmm.
I can only think that helps improve the performance of the next character you're playing.
Absolutely. I mean, being on stage every night and being just absorbing the story, absorbing the character every night, helps.
Because they're real people.
Exactly.
And you want to do them justice.
And if you guys are coming up on 100 performances, if called upon, could you be the understudy for any other character in the show because you know it all so well? Either one of you.
Oh, gosh. No.
Really?
No, I'm going to be honest about
Peggy.
that. No. Oh, my gosh. Our Peggy Mariah is so good. Lily is a star. And I feel like everyone is so very good in these pockets that they fit into. And our standbys that cover 4 principal roles, you know what I mean? So, everyone is so good at these little pockets they're in. But I like Miss Eliza. I think I'll stick with her.
Solid.
It's a good role.
Hey, what's it like when you guys, and we love finding this type of thing out, the behind-the-scenes stuff, when your character has done their part for this particular act and then they head backstage, what's going on back there? All kinds of things can be happening back there.
Oh man, yeah, it's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of bits, a lot of jokes. Yeah, we have a good time.
Is it a break time? I mean, where you get to kind of sit down for a minute and get, have some water or something to eat or something like that?
Yeah, I think especially depending on the track. I mean, for me, my biggest break is intermission. And also Wait For It is a nice break for me, but Wait For It is, my break during Wait For It is very isolating because I'm the only one not on stage during Wait For It.
Yeah.
So I'm just back there, just all right, man.
You get tense.
Yeah. Right.
It's an interesting thing because you talked about the show you were on, Tambo and Bones. Is that it, Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay, so and you described that as being a very kinetic, energetic show, and that you had to change the pacing for this. But you also described about, because there's a lot of stairs and stuff, both of you. I'll start with you, Tyler. Do you have to change your physical regimen the way an athlete would for this production?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and like I was saying before, when I played Lawrence Phillip, who did a lot more dancing than Hamilton does, I had to learn very quickly that I needed to change my rhythms personally. I had to have a different workout routine. I had to go to bed.
Yes, you go to bed.
Right. Yes, go to sleep.
That helps.
And I think those things still apply for Hamilton, who doesn't do as much dancing. But I think more than anything, the biggest thing that I'm trying to cultivate the health of is my brain.
I assume it'd be fairly easy to get, a lot of movement, a lot of injuries can occur and stuff like that. And so you want to avoid that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's like, for me, what do I need to do to make sure my brain is as strong as it can be to say all those words every night?
And there's a lot.
And remember it all. So, I definitely had to switch up my rhythms, had to change some things in my diet too, and so... you do have to train like an athlete.
You don't think that way. The same with you, Lauren?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I don't get 10 hours of sleep, it's a wrap. Good night.
10? You get 10 hours of sleep?
We have to. The vocal, your vocal cords just actually can't phonate at the length that we do.
I get 4.5.
Get out of the studio.
I know. You
So
morning
you're
shows.
taking a nap today is what you're telling me.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
After all these, hitting the
'cause
pillow.
You did the show last night, and then you guys had a reception afterwards.
Yeah.
And then you're here this morning.
Yeah.
I want to ask about things that people don't think about for these shows. So obviously, the show is always moving, right? The set changes in real time. And there are so many things like little pieces of paper and cups and, all sorts of stuff. Like that's somebody's job to make sure that all of that stuff is a line backstage. How is that work? I don't even know how to
phrase the question. It almost seems magical. Yeah,
the staging of it.
Yeah, the staging of it all.
Yeah, our crew is incredible. How everything is, preset before the show, and how it's such a beautiful example of like trust every night of like
Absolutely.
as soon as you walk out on stage, everything's going to be right preset where it's supposed to be. You're going to have all the things. And it's funny, I always make the joke too, because I always say like I got into theater so I didn't have to work an office job. But playing Hamilton, you're getting handed documents and quills and stuff. I'm like, am I at the office? Like,
you're at a Revolutionary War Staples.
Right. And you guys have to move some of the props around and stuff yourselves, don't you?
It's some passing of some things. I pass a lot of papers. That's mostly what I do.
Okay.
A quick question. So when you're in this and you're doing it and you have everything down pat, and you're going, the cups are there when you need them and the quills and so on and so forth. Have you ever had a moment on stage, and you both can answer, where you go, oh my God, we're almost done, or where you lose it a little bit and you kind of just are being carried along by the stream of the performance? Does that happen, and is that terrifying?
We talk about sometimes going into the white room, which is like sometimes you're doing the show and you're in muscle memory. You doing 80 you have 80 shows under your belt, and sometimes you can be like, well, I have no idea what word comes next. And sometimes, you scat to get on by, and then you get back on the train, and then you're there.
Okay. Do you watch Only Murders in the Building by any chance? Because they touch on the White Room in, I think, season 3.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had ever heard of that.
I don't know what it is.
Well, they do it in a comedic way where he kind of like loses his crap and like kind of goes off the rails and, but
completely zone out.
Completely zone out.
Zoned out.
The white room.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens to us all the time.
Everyone can fall victim to it. No one is exempt.
It doesn't matter if it's show number 1 or 1,000.
Truly.
The white room.
Is there
It comes
anything
for you all.
that triggers it? Like, if you didn't get 10 hours of sleep the night before, something like that.
Honestly, no. Sometimes it just happens to me. I did 6 for a year, and one time I forgot my entire monologue and just started the song. And that was show 322.
The rule is, with any form of entertainment, if the audience does not know it's a mistake, it's not a mistake.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But I love the notion of like, oh, the bus is passing, I'm going to jump back on again and get that. And so I guess I think, Tyler, you were saying that once you realize that's there and you can do that, you can sort of exhale and breathe a little bit.
Yeah, it is a, I think it's very easy to, because it's our job, I think it's very easy for us to forget how difficult what we do is.
Yeah.
And so there are times where, especially for me, like I still get nervous when I do the show. When I hear that, dun, 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 I'm like, oh wow, oh snap, I'm like, I'm about to like go out and do this thing. But yeah, I think in times past where like I have made flubs or whatever, and anybody's made flubs, like that just. Those things are kind of necessary because you need to build your confidence of like, okay, even if I fall off, I know how to get back on.
And that's live theater.
Yeah.
That's what you're there for.
I'm a human being.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people that are listening right now that know this score backwards and forwards. And so with the people that are familiar with the material, what is the part of the evening for both of you where it's like the height of your abilities, like singing wise, that like, okay, this is
your showcase.
I'm here. So I'm thinking about the George Washington character in One Last Time. That's Casey's.
That's
like
my jam.
That blows
That's
him
a
away.
great one.
And that
Christopher
song
Jackson.
is powerful. And you know that the performer is like, okay, this is it. This is my big moment of the night.
Yeah.
You guys each have one of those?
Yeah.
And what would you consider that to be?
I obviously think for Eliza it's Burn, but emotionally that's her peak of the show. It's when she's most vulnerable. It's when she's able to actually express herself in a way that women sometimes aren't allowed to. But I would say vocally, Nonstop is crazy for Eliza. It is so up there you don't even realize it until you're in it and you're like.
That's awesome.
And how about you?
Yeah, I think. Rapping wise, especially, my shot so early on is that like, okay, here we are type.
Is it sort of stretching for the rest of the show for you?
Yeah, and so I think my shot is also like, is that for me, and also deep into Act 2, Hurricane kind of is that peak for me as well.
Okay.
Because I'm mixing the two. I'm singing and I'm rapping again.
Right.
But yeah, I would say those two especially.
Here's a little clip of my shot. This is not you doing this, but
I am not thrown away.
this is Lin-Manuel Miranda doing this part.
My country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'ma get a scholarship to King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, but dag, I'm amazed and astonished. The problem is a lot of brains, but no polish. I gotta holler just to be heard with every word. I drop knowledge. I'm a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Dude, I'd be dead. We tried to do a 20-second promo for the local Fox. We couldn't remember 20 seconds worth of stuff. So, and to be there, but that's the exhilaration that drew you to theater, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought you had a really, really nice moment. You and Aaron Burr have a duet that you guys do together, and I thought last night that performance was just so good. And what's crazy is like he's not supposed to be a likable character,
sure,
but he was really likable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
He's just I don't know who's the gentleman who plays Aaron Burr.
JJ, and he is a master class.
Incredible.
You learn so much just by watching him, being his fellow cast member, but he is phenomenal.
Yes.
Could
Yeah.
write a novel about that man.
And let's talk about George Washington as well, because he hit a note in the first act where I don't know if you heard the crowd go crazy.
Yes.
His voice was so low, Steve.
Yeah.
The Christopher Jackson's not as low.
Oh, you were talking about it before.
Yeah, he's like really.
Good to see you here, Casey.
Yeah. But he had those moments. So when you hear a crowd react like that, obviously the crowd applauses at the end of a number, right? That's just that's our duty. But when they react in the middle of something, what does that do to you? What does that give you just extra juice?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's that kind of feedback is what you feed off of. It's like, especially a show that's so high energy like this one, and especially in the moment in which they did,
You don't
cheer.
yell out, "I'm trying to perform here."
Not at all. Please. We love when people are vocal, but and especially, like I said, a moment like that where that reaction happened was right before Yorktown, which is one of the hypest songs of the show. So it's like, yeah, we love that.
Tyler, you mentioned having the nervous energy, and I'm sure that sometimes it might get under your skin a little bit. But isn't that a good thing to have that for every performance? Because it means you still care about it, you still want to nail it.
Absolutely.
And so, have you ever gotten too much into a routine where you're like, oh crap, I kind of lost it tonight?
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. It's like that nervous energy, like you said, is important. It does mean you care, and it keeps me humble as well, And I think it also works for the character in a lot of places, especially in the beginning, that ticking, thing on the inside of him. But yeah, it's funny. There are some times when like I go on stage and I'm not super nervous, and I'm like, hey, what's going on?
Something's wrong.
I'm calm.
Wait, I think Lauren, you said it too, that your character is a kindred spirit in a way. You have a connection. You both have to find. We've had actors and actresses come in here who had to play very reprehensible people and had to still find themselves in those characters. Do you become protective of the character in a way? Because sometimes your actors and actresses talk about this, where it's just, on stage. I mean, when you're in the moment and passions are really hitting their height, like to me, I'd say, I could see myself, hey, why the hell did you say that? Like you can get carried away and lost in the moment. Does that happen? I mean, obviously you're professionals, but I could feel as a human being succumbing to it a little bit.
Right. I mean, the wonderful thing about these people is like they're real. These were real people. These were real circumstances. And luckily, Tyler is such a phenomenal partner on stage. So is JJ, Lily, and Marja, who play the sisters. Like we have such a great camaraderie that when it's on stage, I don't really see them as my homies when we're on stage. And then when we're backstage, we're like, hey, how you doing?
So the wall comes down.
Absolutely.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, obviously a genius, and I saw a picture of you, Tyler, with your arm around him, looking all buddy-buddy. Does he? You're dealing with a singular talent, but all you ever hear about people who interact with him say he's just like a regular guy, a nice guy, self-deprecating. Is there a moment at which you see that magic or whatever click on, when you're around someone like that?
Yeah, he came to when I was in the Philip Company, he came and visited us in Chicago, and that's where that photo was from. But this summer, when we were still in rehearsals in New York, he came to one of our run-throughs in the studio.
Wow.
And it was funny because they kind of like told us without telling us.
Oh,
was
gosh,
coming
yeah.
Before lunch.
How much sweat weight did you lose?
Okay, right. Patrick, our associate director, he was like, "Hey guys, but when we come back from lunch, our composer will be here." And we're like, "Okay."
We're like, oh, so Alex Lackamore, who we've met already.
Okay,
Great.
yeah, cool. Why do you say it like that? That's weird. And then we all come back in the room, and where everybody's like warming up, before the run, and then all of a sudden Lynn walks in, and everyone's just like.
I pulled Tyler over and I was like, did you know he was going to be here? No one told us he was going to be here.
And then I was like, oh, composer.
Yeah. That guy. Yeah.
But he was, he stayed for a bit and watched us, and we got to chat with him during like the intermission, and he's just a wonderful, wonderful human being. So supportive, so encouraging. And it was really amazing to really have just like a moment with him, have that conversation and just to see like, oh, wow, you're dope.
It's funny because he did the movie. Was it in the Heights? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with Anthony Ramos was in it as well.
Yeah.
I remember that came out. I thought that movie. I just saw the movie, but you realize when someone hits that level. With the accolades also comes the hyper scrutinizing, and people were calling out things on that, and I'm like, that's not what I got from it. So, I assume the ability you have to have, in addition to the talent, is the ability to rise above the comments and the people who at that point now make it their mission to take you down.
So true. That's so true. There's a line in Room Where It Happens that's kind of been hitting me in that vein.
Oh,
lately.
Okay.
When Hamilton says, when Burr's like, did you know even that it doesn't matter where you put the U.S. Capitol? And Hamilton says, because we'll have the banks are in the same spot, and goes on to say, when you got skin in the game, you stay in the game, but you don't get a win unless you play in the game. Oh, you get love for it, you get hate for it, you get nothing if you wait for it. And, there's something about just like that idea of being in the arena. You are not going to rise to any occasion in the arena if you're so concerned about, positive or negative feedback. There has to come a time where, like people are always going to have something to say, good or bad. But like in any time, like it comes with the territory, it comes with the position that we're in of like, people are going to have opinions and I've heard it said like, just because you're a household name doesn't mean everybody in the house is a fan of you. And that's okay. And that's okay. But like people are still doing worthwhile things and amazing, incredible things, regardless of what's being said. And I think, that's the thing I've been trying to cultivate within my life.
That's very wise. Yeah.
I have a question that has nothing to do with the musical at all. By the way, Academy of Music is where you'll find Hamilton, which is performing through November 23rd. You're going to be here for a while, roughly a month or so. Yeah. And I'm curious about touring troops like this and that lifestyle and what that is, moving from place to place and setting down roots for a little while and hanging out and getting used to it. And then all of a sudden it's like, summer camp's over. We got to go now. Are you guys staying in hotels? Where do they put you? Like just the nuts and bolts of this moving around the country thing.
It kind of depends. This is my third national tour. So like, I feel like a seasoned veteran. I feel like I figured all the tips and tricks, but sometimes you stay at a hotel with company housing. Sometimes you can get an Airbnb with friends, or you can stay with family members or friends that are in the area. It just kind of depends on what you want to do within that city,
But you've gotten used to this nomadic lifestyle?
Yeah.
You don't get used to it?
When you get older, you're kind of like, man, I really want to plant the roots.
Yeah.
I don't want to rip them up every 3 weeks or so.
But it's part of the job. You're from born in Canada and what?
I was born in Canada, but
San Francisco.
I grew up in San Francisco area. Yeah,
now I assume family at some point has had to have seen you in one of the productions, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Now,
and my dad is like my biggest fan. He comes to every opening.
Oh wow, yeah. Is that a blessing and a curse?
It's actually the biggest blessing. I love my dad.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Tyler, where are you from?
Yeah, born in New York, raised in Virginia.
Okay.
Hampton, Virginia.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of mention of Virginia in the musicals.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Hampton is very close to Yorktown.
Yeah.
We're very close to Williamsburg, very close, all those. And it's funny because like growing up in Virginia, you hear this history all the time in school. Almost feels like mythology at a certain point because, I've heard it so much. So
it's so important. I mean, to realize, once you, again, we all stand on the shoulders of giants, who did things, and people can be dismissive, and you're constantly reminded in this great city of because everything is the first.
Yeah.
And once you lose that through shows like Hamilton, you are able to reappreciate everything.
Well, and that's exactly it, because when initially this was announced, when Lynn wrote the musical and it came out, was hitting, I'm like, the dude on the $10 bill, wasn't even a president, you know? But then you find out what a genius this guy was through this musical in an entertaining way. All classes should be taught with musicals, I think. All history
and
classes.
with you two.
We would actually retain this information if it was done that way.
Well, it's like when you get taught Shakespeare in high school and you're forced to read it, right? Like if you go see a Shakespeare play, it completely changes your perspective on actually learning the material. Yeah. And that's how, it's a great way. It is a great teaching tool. You learn so much more when it's also entertaining at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yes. They brought in Roman Polanski's Macbeth in high school, and there's blood and nudity. We're like, yeah, okay.
I'll watch.
Okay.
Nice. Well, listen, we want to welcome you guys to our city, and we know you've just already done just a couple of performances, and there are many, many more to go at the Academy of Music. It goes now. The show Hamilton goes now through November 23rd. You can get your tickets at ensembleartsphilly.org, and we hope you go see it. And,
Yes.
and if you're new to it and you don't know the music at all, go. You will fall in love with this show.
It gets you.
And Casey gave double huge thumbs up for this particular.
Even after the third thumb.
Groove's performance. He threw his third thumb in there.
Yeah.
He had to unzip his pants to do it, but he did it. But thank you guys for coming by here this morning. Hope you enjoy your time here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
You got it. Let's hear it for Tyler Fauntleroy and Lauren Mariasoosay.
You did it!
I did it. She's got a really cool name. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we will come back in just a moment. Stay with us, friend.
And Steve. On
challenge because music and drumming is so physical and obviously it's a audio experience, but to try to get that translate that onto a flat surface is something I was interested in. So I've been adding things to it to embellish it, to bring out those feelings that I want to convey on the canvas, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm just going for it. There's no art police that's going to come and say, hey, you can't do that. That's against the rules. You're supposed to do, whatever. And so I'm not really concerned with that. I just, if it touches people emotionally or whatever sort of, reaction you can get from art, any kind of art,
right?
I'm down. So it's really, I'm using my drumsticks as brushes. And actually, there are brushes that people use on the drums, and the drums are my canvas, and I can express myself any way I want.
That's wild.
We've had a few other rock stars by here that have taken to artistic and oil paints and various mediums, and a couple of them actually have been drummers. We have Mickey Hart of the Dead, Rick Allen of Def Leppard as well. Do you guys? Is this a community, drummers who go into art?
Like a drum circle, or a paint circle, or an art circle, or whatever. Stuart Copeland does it. Bill Ward from Black Sabbath. There's a drummer from Journey. A lot of people. I don't know. Maybe it's a drumming thing. I know. I asked Mickey about it actually because I saw that he did it, and I asked, and he's with the same company that I did. And obviously, our thing is always very different, but. Just to get a feel for it and how the people were to work with and all that. And he was very positive about it. So, I guess it's a thing. Who knows?
You know what's interesting though is because you talk about that there's no art police, and I think as a musician, and this is your livelihood and so on and so forth, and albums and songs get critical reviews and so on and so forth. It's sort of liberating in a way to tie into an aspect of what you do and have that. And I don't give a rat's ass aspect to it, to just be purely something you feel at the moment. And no, I don't care how it's judged. This is what I want.
If you make art and you're worried about what other people think, and you're making it for someone else than yourself. I mean, it sounds selfish, but you really you have to be okay. You know, you have to love it, and you know, you don't always love everything you do, but you have to do it for yourself and come from the heart, and that's authentic.
Yeah.
And if you're making it for other people or what other people think, music, film, photography, whatever it is, art, then you're already out in a different place, and that's not where I'm coming from. So no, I mean, do I want people to like it? Sure. Do I want some people to hate it? Yes. I want action. I don't want.
Right.
You don't want that as an artist. You want people to love it, or are they? At least for me, I want a reaction. So I think that's good, and you take a risk, and you grow and change as an artist. That's really important, and I'm just doing that. People don't like it. Fuck them.
I have to dump out on the F-bomb. But listen, Chad, I have a question about that and the difference between creating music and creating this as tangible art that you can hold and touch and really take in. Now, if you create something, a piece of music, it goes out into the world, people purchase it, that's great. But you still have that. When you have a piece of art, if you create something that you really love, do you want someone to buy that and have them appreciate it, or is that something you want to keep for yourself? Is it hard to let go of something that you've created that you really, really like?
Yeah, that's a good point. And also I can use the music analogy. It's like you make your songs in your garage or wherever you're at, and you write these songs, and with our situation, there's 4 people in a room, and you come up with something, and if it's really great, it touches people and people connect to it. And then it's theirs. You know what I mean? It's really no longer yours. Once you put it out into the world, it's for everybody. And I mean, if it's something that I made, I guess this is the one thing that would be different. It's a tangible one thing. If I really liked it, I would keep it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? If I was like, I want to have it. I want it. But for most things, it's like, you know, I'm doing it to express myself and share it with other people. So,
yeah, Chad, my girlfriend's a painter, and occasionally she'll paint something and keep it for herself.
Who are you?
I'm on the show as well. My name's Nick. Nice to meet you. And listen,
like the GIMP, did they keep you in the club?
That's right.
Well, today they let me take the leather mask off, but normally I'm in the closet. But she's an artist, and she's a painter, and she loves to occasionally keep a painting for herself. But listen, the reason I wanted to bring a chat just for a second is I don't want to alarm you, but we're zooming with you. There's a window behind you, and I just saw somebody wandering behind you. I don't know if you know who that is, or if there's just there. See him?
Yeah.
There's somebody out your window.
Yeah. There's somebody right outside your window right now.
That's my son Dashiell. He's like loves horror movies and creepy dolls. He's on his bike right now.
Okay.
You guys are talking about you.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, if he's a horror guy, we can have a conversation.
He's quite a character.
Chad, I've got to ask you, one of my favorite places in our country is somewhere I've been visiting since I was a kid, Montauk, New York. And I was there a couple years ago. And apparently, now hopefully we get this rumor right, but apparently I just missed you at Swallow East. You jumped on stage, this was the story, to play with the band that was there.
Probably, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm in Montauk right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I love it there.
Yeah, it's great. Dashiell, they're just talking about how creepy you are behind you.
He's going to put his son on with us. Lord St. Lucida Dashiell. Hey! What's up,
dude? We've been coming here for about 16 years now. My wife's from this area in Long Island. A little bit, not quite as far, but we're here, and we come in the summer whenever we can, and when I'm not working, and I'm sure I've been Talk House, Surf Lodge, you name it. If there's a drum set, I'm showing up. I'm getting up.
I love it.
That's cool.
Do you go to Lynn? Do you go to Lynn's Hula Hut, the little hut in the parking lot? If you haven't, you have to go there.
I'm taking any gigs.
I'm taking any gigs.
I'm in the Hula Hut in Montauk.
Yeah.
So does that mean will you go back there instead of staying in Stone Harbor over the weekend, or are
I'm just coming in? Actually, I'm doing. There's a thing at the World Trade Center at the Oculus where you walk through it.
That's right.
And I have a thing there on Friday, and so it's running through the weekend. But I have to go down for Friday.
Look over your right shoulder.
Really trippy. It's like 2 football fields long, giant digital screens, and my art and a bunch of other people.
Chad, turn around.
Turn around.
Yeah, I just ran away.
Listen,
he was up on the windowsill.
Don't encourage them.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
It's a rascal. This one. I mean, I'm getting payback big time.
Hey, does he play? Does he play drums?
He used to really like the guitar when he was younger. I thought he was going to be the next Jimi Hendrix, but he kind of gave it up. He likes skateboarding and just wreaking havoc with his parents. So now he riding his bike, and no, he kind of. But my middle one, my 12-year-old plays the drums actually, and it's a room full of drums in here.
Ah, nice,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad. I have a drum question for you.
Bed and 3 drum sets.
I have a drum question for you. I'm a lifelong drummer. I'm 53 years old. I quit for a long stretch. I have some hearing issues. I have tinnitus. I played in a band. I did the damage. It's over. But I've been getting back into it the last few years. Bought a great Roland electronic kit. And I've decided to crack down and work on the fundamentals, things that I should have done that I really wasn't paying attention to when I was in marching band and so on. And so I'm really working hard, and I'm doing it just for me. I'm not going to play in a band or anything like that. I just want to be a great drummer just to entertain myself and to satisfy myself. And so I've been working hard. I've been seeing a lot of progress. I'm feeling really, really good about it. And then, boom, all of a sudden, I got this wicked case of tendonitis in my left elbow. And I went to an orthopedic, and he's like, you got to stop playing for a while. But, dude, my momentum is, I'm tearing it up. I'm improving so much. And I don't know if I should listen to the doctor or I should follow my heart and keep on practicing hard,
Man, is it have anything to do with the Roland kit, like how you're hitting? Is that because they don't have a lot of, do they have a lot of give?
No, they did. You know what? Actually, where I initially heard it is I was doing it on a pillow, to work on my rebound a little bit, and I think I went a little too hard on that. So it was my own doing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you, brother, when you want to do it, and then it's like, you can't, or you're not supposed to. Is it inflammation or is it tendonitis?
No, it's like it might be like a little tear in there. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But you've played for as hard as you guys play, especially when you're touring. Do you ever have these things pop up where it's like, oh man, what am I going to do? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's more. I don't think that I've had tendonitis.
Yeah.
But I get inflammation in my joints, and my wrist, and my elbow. It's not normal to do this.
Right.
Man like me. So it's like, it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah.
So you really, it's a funny thing. I tell people, it's like, it's no longer like, you party all night and get all wasted and whatever till 4 a.m, sleep for 2 hours, get up. It's literally now it's what you got to do to take care of yourself so you can be healthy to perform at the level that you want to.
Right.
So it's a whole different thing. It's really like taking care of yourself, eating right, getting enough sleep. Sounds so boring, but yeah, it's inflammation is the thing that gets me. Okay. And so I have to after we play, if anything hurts or not, I just ice.
Yeah.
I ice my wrists. It's mainly my wrists that tend to get sticky, as I like to call it, and that really helps. But tendonitis, man, that's
Yeah. I should probably listen to the doctor. I don't know. They'll work it out later. But speaking of the music, I did hear a whisper recently that you and the Red Hot Chili Peppers are starting to get ideas together for a new record. Any truth to that?
There's truth to that. Yes, you heard correct. We're making a record, and we're almost done with it.
Wow.
And then when it's the pandemic thing is no concerts, so we just wrote music and recorded a bunch of songs, and we're going to put a record out when it's done and baked like a nice cake.
Yeah.
And we'll go play some shows. We're going to play next year, though. We decided to wait. I want it to be fun and safe, and as you were talking about, as normal as possible for everybody, and be able to experience not only performing but going to the show. So I know there's some shows popping up now, but we're going to wait until next year, like a lot of people, and come out.
How do you guys? How do you guys keep it so fresh and continue to put out like good new music that doesn't sound like the album before or the album before or the album before? You guys have a knack to really just continue to produce great new music.
Wow, you're very smart. Not only handsome, powerful.
Powerful.
Anyway. Yeah, thank you. Well, we love it, and so, Guy, and as I was just alluding to before, I think that you have to keep changing and growing and challenging yourself as an artist. It's just why keep doing the same thing over and over.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Actually, before we do the bizarre file, I would like to apologize here, if you don't mind, I apologize to Casey because I think that mentioning Casey really wanted us to dress up and do. I'd like to apologize. Costumes this morning, and I was kind of the first one that was just like, I don't really feel like doing that this year, and I didn't mean to poop on your party.
That's okay.
So
My
I'm
party's been
apologizing.
pooped on for
So many times.
so many
So
it's
many
all
years
good.
in a row.
It's a we don't do Pollyanna anymore, and
But now that I think about it, a great costume for us to possibly have done would have been Chrysagon, the philosopher of evil, and the skull sealer.
Yeah, right.
We could have created those characters.
I apologize to anyone who's been offended by my fictional creations, Chrysagon, the philosopher of evil, and the skull sealer.
So if we had Chrysagon, and if we want to split these up, I think Chrysagon and the philosopher of the evil or philosopher of evil are one and the same. But it could be like the Holy Trinity, where we could split it up in a few different
philosopher
So
of
we do
evil.
Chrysagon, the philosopher of evil, the skull sealer, and then someone could be Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah.
And someone could be Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
And then someone could be the psycho that says all this stuff. And that's 6 characters right there.
Yeah, but see, here's the
been
problem.
a group costume.
And here's why it would never work, because I think that is so stupid and I wouldn't want to take part.
But you would have been Jennifer Gardner.
It's dumb. I'm just saying this is why it doesn't work.
What's your idea?
That's how it feels, Preston.
What's your group costume?
That's exactly how it feels.
When somebody dumps on your idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel it now.
But what idea would you have, do you think, for a group costume, Kathy?
I would have liked to done the Michael Jackson Thriller video. That's what I love.
That's timely.
I like your idea, and here's why it sucks and is stupid, and why we should never do that, because it's dumb.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can't escape. You can't escape the video now on MTV.
By the way, somebody texted in and said I think it's in the East Village in New York City. They do a Thriller, like they have a parade. They have like a Halloween parade, and they do like a flash mob of the song, and anybody who wants to join in can.
That's cool.
Well, all you got to do is know the dance.
If you want to talk about
go do
annoying
that.
trends on social media, I'm sure you've seen it. People stand in front of a big screen TV and mimic the
Thriller dance?
The Thriller dance.
In front of a big screen TV.
I've seen 1,000 videos of people, doing that whole thing.
yeah.
Yes. The Michael Jackson moves, standing alongside a big screen TV as the video plays.
Okay.
By the way, that exactly what Casey did. That move is my friend, just like Arani saying, that's her move, like no matter what song's on.
Sure.
Yes.
You know what I think about, like, when this, because I pulled it up on YouTube, Preston, and it's cool to watch, right? I think it's a neat thing to see on YouTube while I'm having a conversation with you guys. To be there in person, about a minute of it, I'd be like, all right, I'm done. You know what? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it would in person. I think it would wear thin really fast.
It was so entertaining. Like so many people, you're like, oh my god, they all learned this dance. Like it was a performance.
But how long are you watching it?
I mean, I watched the whole song.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like once it's over, like
Well, they were going from bar to bar, so they would only do it once at each bar.
I got you.
Okay.
And only part of the song in the video
It's
is
just
where
a Michael Jackson.
is where the whole crew does the choreographed dance.
When he turns around for the zombie, and he's the zombie, at that point, that's when it occurs. One of the best of these that I ever saw was years ago, and I guess it was a global event, Preston, was when they did the ELO song All Over the World.
Okay.
And they had people dancing synchronously all over the world to the video. And I don't know how it happened, but everyone seemed to be doing the same dance, flash mob style, at various locations, globally, which is pretty wild.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kathy, you can go do this if you want. I don't know when they're having the parade. I don't know if it's
right now. You better get going.
I gotta head out.
All right. We have to do the bizarre file. So here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Worldwide Stereo. Shop there better than black. Friday 3-day holiday savings event. It's November 8th through the 10th, and no one does holiday shopping like Worldwide Stereo. You can check them out at worldwidestereo.com. This is a messed up. Officials are investigating after they claim a man serving a federal prison sentence allegedly created a hand-drawn map for a fellow inmate that led to a cache of child pornography buried in the backyard of a home in Newcastle County, Delaware.
Oh, my God.
So listen to this. This guy, Alfred E. Daking Jr., 81 years old, former Delaware resident, is currently serving a federal prison sentence on an unrelated case. He was charged with possession of child sexual abuse material. The charges arose after Daking told a fellow inmate that he had buried an ammunition can containing videos in his parents' backyard. Also, Daking created a hand-drawn map of the property depicting where he would be able to find the videos that were buried in the yard.
So, excuse me, just for the chronology. So, when he was younger, prior to going into jail, he buried this?
He had to have been.
Because he's 81. I doubt his parents are still.
So, they were on cassette. So, I assume that it's kind of like Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, yes.
He buried
the
this
worst
stuff
kind,
for someone else to find. Yeah. So, law enforcement officials obtained that map. They recovered the ammunition can from the yard. Inside, investigators found 3 video cassettes and an 8mm film that all contained child sexual abuse material. Wow. Also, follow-up investigation found one of Daking's fingerprints on a video cassette. The U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI are seeking to identify additional victims of his. The man who claimed to be running a legitimate scientific business near Lewisburg was actually a drug dealer, and a big one, federal prosecutors say. Now, the reason I bring this up is because of how this guy got busted, okay? It's Anthony D. Brezzi made fentanyl and fentanyl variants. Brezzi is accused of using a business called Shiva as a front for the manufacturer of illegal drugs.
Shiva is a religious term.
It's the prayer for the dead, or when you're sitting Shiva for in the Jewish faith. But anyhow, he put the fentanyl and its variants in gallon buckets that 2 co-defendants, Domenico Henderson and Terry Harris of Philadelphia, distributed. They have pled guilty and are awaiting sentencing. Bresley usually would meet Harris in the King of Prussia area and Henderson in Western Pennsylvania and return with the money. This is what got him busted. His taking duffel bags full of money to banks drew the attention of the FBI. He would
that is as Bush League as you can get.
Come in with duffel bags of cash. Bank records showed
another big bag of cash, fellas.
August 2018 and June 2019. Brezzi made cash for deposits into Shiva's business checking account totaling near $1.8 million.
Yeah, nothing shady about that.
Yeah, so he was, the most compelling is his admission during a 3-hour interview at Shiva. By the way, I just realized Kaddish is actually the prayer for the dead. Shiva is what the family does.
They said
after
Shiva, right.
people are, when they are in mourning. So sorry to my Jewish brethren, even though I am not one of the brethren.
Is that a Jewish thing?
It's Bill,
is that a Jewish thing?
Bill Weston would say, is that a Jewish thing?
Jewish thing?
All right.
What?
Unsealed court records show a former propane worker suggested a homeowner let a leaking propane tank continue to release the hazardous material before the February house explosion in Sterling, Virginia that killed a volunteer firefighter and injured 11 others. Earlier this week, the former employee was charged with involuntary manslaughter in the blast that killed firefighter Trevor Brown. When service technician Roger Bentley arrived to inspect a leaking 500-pound underground propane tank, he told the homeowner to allow the hazardous material to seep out of the ground and be on their merry way.
Ah, okay, sure.
The affidavit said the homeowner asked Southern States Cooperative to repair the underground propane tank that fueled the backyard pool heater since she planned to put the house on the market in the following month. According to investigators, another employee had filled the tank earlier in the day. Both he and the homeowner noticed a strong gas odor. The employee had contacted 3 supervisors and said propane was escaping from one of the welds due to the age of the tank, and it would have to be dug up on another day to pump off the remaining propane in the tank. The court documents obtained said Bentley and the other employees' conversations with the homeowner were recorded on a doorbell camera. When Bentley arrived to assess the situation, he advised the homeowner to just let the propane escape into the air. 4 hours later, the house exploded. Yeah, right? So
it's amazing.
In the affidavit, they said the propane vapors are heavier than air and will collect in low-lying areas such as valleys, basements, and sewers. Typically, propane will not naturally disperse and will need assistance to prevent the accumulation of vapors. It collects.
Right.
And then, boom, if it ignites, it's up in the air. So,
wow, man.
Obviously, somebody is going to be in big, big trouble after that. All right, and then we'll do one more story, and we will wrap it up. And this is a light one. A small town in Canada is gearing up for municipal elections to be held in just weeks. But there's a small problem. No one wants to be mayor. Like, no one at all wants a job. They don't want to run for mayor. With just 400 residents, the humble hamlet of Kyle, that's the name of the town, Kyle, has put up until now, the humble hamlet of Kyle has up until now been famous as the site where the 12,000-year-old bones of a woolly mammoth were uncovered during the 1960s. But now it risks becoming known as the town that nobody wanted to run. The trouble began when incumbent George Williams announced his retirement after serving for the position.
I didn't even know he had a mayor.
Since 2021, and no one stepped up to take his place. And time is running out. The election will be held November 13th, and 2 attempts to secure a nomination from the reportedly declining local population have so far been unsuccessful.
I'm no one, and I approve this message.
So, yeah, they're going to have to try and figure out what to do. By the way, the town has its own mascot, Wally the Woolly.
Let me tell you something. Right about now, I'd move to that town.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
At least
you're to escape the political commotion.
ads. Not going to have any ads. All right, and there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. A reminder, Marissa Magnata will be out and about tonight. Make sure that you join her. Gary Lauer is excited.
That's right. Malcolm Magnata.
She is out for the Bud Light Thursday night kickoff, and you can win Birds tickets at City Tap House, Logan Square, from 7 to 9, and it's Halloween night. I mean, come on. You're looking for something to do and maybe win something really cool.
Yeah.
You can go there and hang out, and they have tickets for the December 8th game against Carolina. And also $5 Bud Light drafts and MMR Bud Light Kelly Green T-shirts and koozies. And you could also, if you win the tickets tonight, you'll be qualified for the grand prize. If the Eagles make the playoffs, you can get playoff tickets. Pretty
Excellent.
Cool, yeah. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in a second, and we'll test your knowledge. We'll have a lesson question. We'll get to trash and music news, too, so make sure you stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
For some people, that's kind of all they can do, so they do that. Okay. But we're pretty good, as humbly as I can say. We like all kinds of different music, and we want to not do what we did. It's going to sound like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but we have a distinct, something I'm very proud of. We have an identifiable sound to our band. And, Anthony has a very, recognizable voice, and we play the way we do. And you put 4 of us together, and we can kind of do anything. So we're so fortunate that way. That opens up the palette of like fast, slow, hard, funk, rock, blah, 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 all those stupid categories. We just make music that we like. And hopefully you make some good ones. They're not all going to be great. But,
hey,
do it, man.
Chad,
keep doing the same thing. That would be...
I wanted to ask about the dynamic with your guitar players and Josh Klinghoffer and John Frusciante, and the floating in and out of the two guys. Does that get weird at all, trying to make those decisions of who's going to be playing guitar on, with the band now? And because, you're talking about your livelihood, you're talking about a brotherhood and all that stuff. So how difficult is it to make those? And you're also talking about legalities and stuff, about contracts and things. So
yeah, it is difficult. We don't interchange our band members like changing our underwear. It's like the chemistry of a group is so important, and that really, to me, separates. All the great bands have amazing chemistry, and it doesn't mean every player has to be so proficient on their instrument, and it's just how people, it's a team, and it's a gang, and it's like how they mesh together. And we've been very fortunate to have great musicians in our band, great guitar players, other drummers before I joined, 30 whatever years ago, but like wonderful musicians. And you have to have that connection with that person for it to, gel together and make something that's special. And with John Frusciante, who's come back in our group, this is now the third time, we have that thing with him. And I don't know what it is, but we have it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
When we get together, we make this thing that's special. And, as you get older, you don't take that for granted. When we were younger, kind of like, oh, yeah, whatever, But as you learn and go through life and life experiences, you learn, don't take this for granted. So when he wanted to come back in our group again, he'd gone off and done other things, and he wanted to be in a band again. He's like, this is the only band I want to be in. I just want to play with you guys. And so we were like, I think this would be great to have this opportunity, another fresh kind of take on what we're doing in 2020 or whenever it was when he joined, a year ago. And so we welcome that. And, again, the other guys in the band are amazing. We've made great music, have had wonderful times. I love Josh and Dave Navarro and all these guys that have been in our group. But, we do have a special thing with John. So we're gonna get on that and see what happens.
Nice.
Hey, Chad, not only am I the guy who claps and cheers in the background when we bring guests on, but I'm also the guy that makes. It's a great job. It's a great gig. Pays the mortgage. But I'm also the guy who makes things weird, and so I want to invite you over for a cigar this weekend because I'm a short town over from where you are. But if you want to come over for a cigar or a crab cake sandwich, I know where to get the good stuff.
Sounds really weird.
We know.
It was supposed to be.
I thought you were going to play. You can come over, some kind of sandwich, and we'll play hide the cigar.
Yeah. Now that's a party.
I heard about the Jersey Shore thing. Somewhat, I don't know, but you know what? I'm down for whatever. So you might have to come get me rescue me from the gallery.
All right.
Well, join you for a cigar.
Speaking of the gallery, so people come out, they get to see the artwork and purchase as well, correct? And how is that working? I mean, you're going to be on premises.
I've got the times here.
Oh, you do? All right.
Saturday, 7 to 10 p.m., and then Sunday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So.
Oh, they're awesome. Yeah.
I think I'm only going to 1 on Sunday. I don't want to drive 9 hours back to Memorial Day Sunday. But yeah, I'll be there and come down and we'll hang out and talk about whatever and look at stuff. And I may, add something to something if somebody really wants me to.
Okay.
Who knows? It kind of goes. So yeah, that'll be happening Saturday and Sunday. Exactly.
Hey, do you know, just offhand, and I don't know if this is inappropriate to ask an artist, but what your artwork goes for money-wise, or is it...
Billions!
Yeah.
Wow!
You asked! No, come on. I don't know.
Okay.
Price points in front of there's little ones, there's a lot of different ones.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah.
But it's it's affordable.
Let's just say art to suit every budget.
I love it. Nice.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah.
All right. Well, Chad will be, just to reiterate, at the
Stillwater shirt?
He's wearing a Stillwater shirt. Yeah.
Wow.
I just picked this up. But in fact, there was they're reissuing the soundtrack from Almost Famous. If you didn't hear what Chad said, he was asking if I'm wearing a Stillwater shirt.
Right.
And they're reissuing the soundtrack in like a 5-disc set or something like that. And they're going to have 5 full-length songs from Stillwater. Whoever the group was, wearing. You said Mike McCready?
Mike McCready, Nancy Wilson wrote a lot of the songs. I think Cameron Crowe contributed as well, too. But, full-fledged great musicians. But there was a band, and the story, I mean, we can talk about this at another time, but the story behind the band Stillwater, there was a fictional band created by Cameron Crowe for the movie, is really impressive.
Yeah. Kind of like, what's his name, Willie Nelson's son? The
Lucas.
Band. Yeah, Lucas, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, that was the band for that movie, for the Stars Born movie.
With Bradley Cooper. Yeah, they
didn't know that.
They became buddies, and Bradley Cooper became a better musician because he worked with Lucas on that record. Yeah.
Hey, just a quick question, because we have you talk about Almost Famous. What movie do you think most captures, since you're an actual rock star, what movie do you think resonates and captures the spirit of being a rock star? The best.
Hands down, no doubt. The movie This Is Spinal Tap.
There we go.
Nice.
Come on.
Yeah.
The greatest films. I'm sorry. They nail it. Every scene. If you've been in a band at all, done any traveling at all, it's incredible. It holds up to this day.
It does.
Other movies, Almost Famous, all that stuff, but to me, Spinal Tap, hands down.
Are you saying you've gotten lost backstage trying to find your way to the stage before?
Of course. Everything in that movie, not one thing. It's the limo, the whole, everything. It's the record company party, everything. The girlfriend, the thing. It's spot on.
That's great. I love to hear that.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Chad, thanks for your time, man. Stone Harbor.
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we'll stop. Maybe me and Casey will stop by. We both have shore houses, so we'll come by and say hello.
Please do. That would be awesome.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Chad Smith. Red Hot Chili Peppers, guys. Oh, my God. He is the coolest guy. He is the coolest guy. And his son, Dashel, was pretty awesome, too, man.
His son kept popping up in the window behind him.
So it is this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And once again, it is the Ocean Gallery. So if you want to check with them ahead of time, you can reach out and find out what the full, meeting times and all that stuff will be, which is cool. So.
I like that idea of visualizing drum playing and what they're doing with that. It's cool stuff.
This guest is one of the more colorful characters through the years of contestants on Jeopardy. So much so, not only a Tournament of Champions winner, but they loved his personality so much, brought him in to host. He's been hosting this week the Tournament of Champions.
He's been doing a great job.
2021. Buzzy Cohen is joining us. Good morning, Buzzy. Hey, good morning
thank
to you,
you.
sir. Hey, I got to ask you, man, how was it? I mean, you guys film these things in advance. Was it as surreal as you thought it might be, being up there, standing in Alex's place?
Totally. It was like dreaming in a dream, like it was so bizarre, but also so wonderful. It's always great to be back on that stage. I'm a fan first, so anytime I get to be a part of the show, I'm absolutely stoked. But even on the first tape day, we taped 5 shows in a day. So the first week of shows we did in one day.
Wow.
On the lunch break of the first week, I just went out and walked out on set just to drink it in and have a moment by myself. Cause you never get that, you're always when you're a contestant, you're always in the green room, you're being shuttled off. And so I really tried to take advantage of that. And it was
Rats. 93.3 WMMR. That is from Ghost on this Halloween morning. Preston and Steve Show, 17 minutes after 10 o'clock. We're hitting the home stretch on our program today. We still have some things that we need to give away, and we are going to do this courtesy of
The Lincoln Mill Haunted House. And we're going to give away a pair of tickets, actually a 4-pack of GA tickets for the Main Street Manioc attraction.
People love that place.
If you can answer this question correctly, you can win. Let me see here. How about this? How many thumbs up did Casey give to the Philadelphia production of Hamilton? 215-263 WMMR. Let's see if you heard that earlier. We were chatting with two members of the cast, and we need to know how many thumbs up, because he saw the show last night. How many thumbs up did Casey give to the Philadelphia production of Hamilton? 215-263 WMMR. You had to have heard it to know. If you do, call now, and we'll do the trash while you're calling.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, while we're waiting for your call, we'll get the stories from Steve. What's up this morning?
Well, Nick Cannon revealing on a recent podcast that being married to a superstar like Mariah Carey made him question his self-worth. Cannon said he was eventually able to put things into perspective once he had 200 kids.
Oh my God.
Zach Baggins announcing his Ghost Adventures team, get this, will investigate the house that was used for exterior shots in the movie Poltergeist. Baggins says the house has an energy you can feel whenever you put your finger in a socket.
Hey!
And finally, sources within the LADA's office claiming Eric and Lyle Menendez will more than likely be released from prison by mid-December. In fact, sources indicate that once out, the two plan on producing a holiday movie in which a young boy uses his brand new Red Ryder BB gun to murder his parents. That's your Hollywood Trash.
All righty, let's find out if you know what happened on the program earlier this morning. How many thumbs up did Casey give to the Philadelphia production of Hamilton? Our first caller in is Lou, so we will go to Lou first. Hi, Lou, good morning.
Good morning, Bay Hitches.
Bay Hitches. All right, Lou, how many thumbs up did Casey give the production of Hamilton, please?
A whopping 3 thumbs up.
3 thumbs up. Yes, that is correct. Hang on, Lou. We are going to give you a 4-pack of GA tickets for Lincoln Mill Haunted House on Main Street Manioc, featuring live scare actors, production quality sets, animatronics, and special effects. Plus, you can learn more about serial killer Victor Kane's secrets in Manioc. Tickets and info at LincolnMillHaunt.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, let's start with, I just have two stories this morning. We'll go with this. As a way to leave a tight-knit group like a band, email may not be the best.
I don't think so.
According to members of Primus, drummer Tim Herb Alexander sent them an email almost 2 weeks ago saying that he had, quote, lost his passion for playing and was leaving the band.
Dear fellow members of Primus, goodbye.
In their statement, Primus said the departure of Alexander came as a complete shock to all of us. The band isn't canceling any shows, but they will instead feature members of Holy Mackerel, Frog Brigade, and Tool to fill in the gaps until they complete their search for, quote, the greatest drummer on earth.
They're not. They're going to bypass Lemur Polka Band?
Yeah, they're going to bypass them, but they're going with the Frog Group and everybody else. But and Holy Mackerel. Yeah.
Holy Mackerel.
And then just one more story. Hurricane Helene led to the cancellation of Slayer's set at the Louder Than Life Festival in Kentucky this year, but they're going to make it up to fans next year.
Should we do it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah.
All right. I'll continue on until you're ready. The festival has announced it's returning to Louisville, Kentucky at the Highland Festival grounds from September 18th through the 21st. Next year with Slayer as the headliner. And the festival has also announced that single-day pass holders for the canceled September 27th show can receive a full refund or credit applied to the 2025 passes, and weekend pass holders can get a 25% refund or credit. Hang on. This isn't it.
No. I thought it was Raining Blood.
Well, maybe it is. Hang on.
Yeah, let me try this.
Maybe once it gets
instead.
going. I thought...
No.
We had a song that I don't think was Slayer that we would use as a...
oh, really?
No. As just a little thing to incite Steve to do his Slayer thing, which always cracked me the hell up. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I got to find it.
All right.
Because,
Case can't find
we can revisit it.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have it later. Okay. That's all I have in music news.
Yay!
So we are going to take a quick break, and I don't know why I went, but I did. We're going to take
I got it. Okay, I figured it out. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yes.
Yes. I missed that. We have a.
So what band does this music?
I don't know.
No, this is Slayer.
Is this Slayer?
This is Epidemic by Slayer.
Yeah. All right. We have an animation that somebody did years and years and years ago, which is awesome. One of my favorite moments is they show a quick flash of a goose with fangs, if I remember correctly. And there's all kinds of pictures of things from the show. There's so many.
Kathy with a knife.
We have done so much stuff over the years that these clips of that we're seeing in this video, I've forgotten that we've done. I've forgotten more about this show than I know now.
Was there a picture of an X-ray of a skull that was performing oral?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
We used to have on our old website, we had a section that was just called random shots. And so people would send us just random, weird, funny photos.
I love that.
That was one, Casey, that mouth skull. Yep.
Oh, my God.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's vulgar. That's great.
It doesn't look as sexy.
I don't think I've ever heard you laugh like that either.
Yeah, that was weird, right? That was like serial killer.
Okay. All right, we will indeed take a break, and when we return, we're wrapping up the program. We'll get the letter of the day for the Word of the Week prize. Make sure you stay with us.
I was in Alex's green room. It was
so wild.
I was really connecting with him. It was amazing.
Well, I have to say, first off, you've been doing a great job. I love to see people who excel, and Ken has done it. You guys are GOAT status, and Ken the GOAT at this point, but still, you guys have, I think, a singular credibility when it comes to being up there and doing this. And the show is just so you can tell you are a fan. And if you were nervous, that didn't come through. What I do love is the knowledge, and you always sense this with Alex, that there is a wealth of knowledge behind the clue giver who can sort of accentuate a little bit of information that's being, imparted throughout the show. As you're doing it, did you have that moment, though, in that where you're so overwhelmed, where you're like, oh, yeah, I'm actually running this thing? Like, did you lapse into contestant mode for a nanosecond or observer mode?
Well, I spent about 4 weeks getting prepared for this, and I had to I watched a lot of Alex, and I had to totally change the way that I was watching the show to switch. So by the time we got there to the actual tape day, I had my mentality had totally shifted. But one thing that I think it really helped me with is that being a contestant, I kind of understand the way you listen to the clues and hear the clues.
Yes.
And so it helped me kind of understand where to kind of put a little more emphasis because, like Alex, I want the contestants to get the questions. I'm not here trying to trick them.
Well, so, there's a perfect example of that. And you make a good point. Last night, there was a clue where this spotted dance, and it was polka. And I would not have known it other than the clue of spotted. I thought, polka dots. Yeah. And so, but that's the genius of the show. And then you asked it.
Totally.
I think you laid it in there. I got it. They didn't get it, but I got it. And that's what Alex did so brilliantly.
Yeah, I think that he was my North Star, and what he always did was he was on the side of the contestants and the show, the integrity of the show. And so that's whenever I had a question about how to approach something, it was how do I keep the integrity of the show as strong as possible, and also make this enjoyable for the contestants. My Tournament of Champions was so fun, and I just wanted to make sure that they were having a good time. For me, that was making sure that the taping and everything went as smoothly as possible. And so I really just wanted to do a great job, not just for myself, but also for them and also for the fans. I wanted them to have a great Tournament of Champions. This is like a highlight of the year.
Buzzy, was there anything that you discovered that you didn't realize it was one of Alex's responsibilities as host? Maybe that's kind of not even really even seen. It's just you have to be in that place to go, oh, yeah, he does this as well.
Well, the thing that you realize when you start, because when you're getting ready as a contestant, you're sort of ignoring his reads in a way. You're reading the clues faster than him to try to figure out if you know it, and then just listening for him to finish. What I realized is every single clue that he is reading, he approaches like its own thing. He doesn't have like a Alex clue read. Every single clue is its own story.
I don't know where that's coming
from. It's not a marathon. It's 61 sprints. Each clue, like, he gave its own life. And that, to be able to do that and not just kind of like zone out and get into like, okay, here's my clue read rhythm, is incredible. And I think the other thing he did so well was he could pepper in little bits of color, like, just for fun, like teasing that, oh, you're out of the hole, blah, blah, blah. Doing that when you're in the moment and trying to track what clues happening, all that is not easy. And, you know, I think what was amazing is how effortless he made the entire thing.
Preston and I, and we've all discussed those little things like when like encouraging somebody. That's right.
Totally.
Those little things which seem like, oh, what? That he's just simply conversing. That everyone can do that. No. To sort of finesse it in there and keep momentum. Because think about it. Without that, you'd have these glacial pauses that that would really resonate. But that forward momentum, and you're doing it well. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
And so yeah, I mean, but that's why the show is the creme de la creme of game shows.
I agree. And the other, like, little things like that I had to learn at the beginning, which was like saying yes, correct, right, good, not always just saying yes, yes. Which, by the way, when the first time I did it, I just, like, you know, when I did a practice game on my own, it was yes, because we don't think about changing it up, but as a viewer, it gets so boring when you hear. So little things like that he just, because he'd been doing it for almost 40 years, it was just so second nature.
As a radio show host, that's one of the things that I do. So I'm glad other people are finally picking up on that. So yeah.
Buzzy, this is Nick. I'm a huge fan, and thanks for responding to me over Instagram and agreeing to come over the show. It was really cool, and I've been watching, like Steve and everybody here, every bit of the tournament this over the last couple of weeks. I wanted to ask you about polarizing contestants, because Ryan was on last night, and there was a lot of response to him that was negative. And he made it to the Tournament of Champions. He's a really good contestant. He's really smart.
Yeah.
But he was kind of off-putting, and so I saw on social media, and I contributed to it. That there was some pushback against the guy. But you, as a host, obviously you have to remain neutral. Is it hard for you to incorporate that into your job while you're actively hosting it?
I mean, Ryan was. If you hadn't seen it last, he basically was a bad sport. He was kind of. He read as a bad sport. Yeah.
I'm going to come to Ryan's defense here. I've been through this, and I know people who have, like, everyone has a different approach to this. And I think Ryan, he was a great competitor. First of all, he's a great player.
Yeah.
If you look at, if you take out those daily doubles, he outplayed Veronica last night, right? If just straight clue play. And I think that it's hard to be on. How many of us have to be on camera for like a devastating moment like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not, like, I think, if to compare Jeopardy contestants to professional athletes is not quite fair, because if you're a professional athlete, you've been through like the high school and college, and you've been through this, like, this is the second time he's lost a game of Jeopardy ever. Okay. He played his heart out, and it just wasn't enough. It's hard to have 4 cameras on you in that moment. And he and the other contestants have a great camaraderie. I don't think it had anything to do with Veronica. I think it's hard to be processing that on camera. I think that different people have different, like, I had a very, like, happy-go-lucky, win-lose, whatever attitude. Not everybody's like that, and I don't think we need to expect that from.
The dude made it to the Tournament of Champions semifinals, and I'm sitting there on my couch, and so it's I have no place to judge. I'm a viewer. I'm not a contestant, so I don't want to be harsh on the guy, but it's just got to be. You see people rooting for or against particular contestants, and it makes it difficult for somebody like that, I'm sure, to have to go through.
Yeah, and for me, I was like, to be honest, when I saw I think the feeling in the studio was I think a little different than what it came across at home when he missed that daily double and then was like trying so hard to come back. I think everybody suddenly was like, oh man, you got to feel for this guy.
Well, and that to me read. That even at that point, that read is passion. I got it. I'm like, damn it, I'm off my game. Or like, I just happened to a couple of days ago we were at a golf charity and I'm seeing people respond who are hitting bad shots. Like you see that same frustration. I got that. Yeah. At the end, you would like to think though. And again, you're right. It's a unique circumstance. Everything's on the line, and I get it because I think he's normally a likable guy. It just seemed like there was. It was her moment. You lost, and he's. I think that's what a lot of people read and saw. It's like, wow, man, you not even an acknowledgement or something, and that's what it is.
And also you have to remember there's editing, like those after. True. That after game chat is much longer than what you get on TV. So I think everyone's got to give game show contestants a lot more. I mean, people thought I was an arrogant asshole when I was on the show. Am I allowed to say that?
We'll let it go.
You can say ass. Arrogant ass.
Yeah,
but but you were.
But I was just having fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that it's very easy for us to like project a lot of stuff. The other thing to remember too is like this is very different. The experience of taping because of COVID, the studio is very empty. It's just like other players and a couple of producers in the audience. So I think you're less self-conscious, right, about how you are presenting yourself when you're up there.
Buzzy, I wanted to ask from a contestant's perspective, and one who especially gets on a roll like you and wins multiple nights. Because you don't know what the categories are going to be. How do you bone up? How do you prepare for that? Do you dive into? Do you research the things that you're weakest at, or do you take the history of categories and what likely might be on there? Like, I don't know, Shakespeare is my Achilles heel. It's terrible. So if I were to head into the show, would it be a good idea to bone up on my Shakespeare?
Yes, it would. Shakespeare, rivers, capitals, classical music. But the thing to remember is I actually wrote an audiobook called Get Ready, available on Audible. Sorry for the plug.
No, absolutely.
That is about kind of how I got ready for the show. And what you realize is that Jeopardy has certain subjects it likes to cover, and it is a piece of mass market entertainment. So they're not going to pick something completely obscure, right? So there's sort of a depth of information that they're going to go for. And so for me on that stuff, I really looked at not just what the show has asked before, but the types of things that they've asked before. So for instance, like, if there's Pulitzer Prize winners, you don't have to know every book ever published, but there's notable books to know.
Yes,
right?
No, that's absolutely true.
With Shakespeare, you don't need to know every single plot point, but it would be good to be able to connect either.
Enter Sandman. That's because that is done by Motorhead. Their version of Enter Sandman, which I'll be honest, I have never heard until this very moment.
It's almost like they dressed up as Metallica for Halloween.
It's kind of like that. Yeah. But they did. That's a pretty faithful reimagining of that, and not much reimagining. They played it pretty much straight ahead in that version. All right, 10:36 on this Halloween morning with the Preston and Steve show. Weather, as you know, is just, it could not be more perfect for Halloween. It's warm. It's clear. Going up to, not only warm, it's going to be almost hot, 81 degrees, man.
So they say around prime trick-or-treating time, you're going to be in the mid-60s, low 70s. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Yes, it's going to be wonderful. Good drinking weather, Kat.
Yeah, it is. Good margarita weather.
The fire pit, I move it towards the front of the display, so you have it looks really ritualistic, but I'll keep the flame low. And
Keep it low, yeah.
We don't get nearly as many trick-or-treaters as you do, Steve, but this is going to be the kind of night where I'm just going to sit outside, even though there's going to be lag time in between trick-or-treaters. I know that you guys probably don't ever quit, right?
No, we hang outside, and we have turkey tacos, and my sister-in-law is coming into town because she doesn't get any trick-or-treaters now where she is. So she's going to come and feel the thrill.
Pierre, do people come by Casa Robert for trick-or-treating?
No, the first year I got the house, I got all this candy.
Nothing.
Nothing, not one?
Well, my neighbor, out of sympathy, brought me his child. I gave him like 10 pounds of candy. and I tried one more year, and then I just said, no.
Not happening.
Well, Pierre, that's like, I get a few, but I used to buy like tons of candy. I was used to, how I grew up, constant trick-or-treaters. Now I just get like a small bag, and whoever comes last gets all of it.
Nice. Very nice.
Of crackers.
That's candy, so you get boxes of crackers.
Yeah, we literally get
crackers.
Nobody stops by our house at all, and we're like you, Pierre. We don't buy candy anymore because it's just not. If we buy candy, it ends up being eaten by either one of us.
Right. So I deal with the other side, which is my wife will purchase what she delightfully believes is enough candy, and then now last year I way over purchased, but I'd rather have enough. Because we'll have hundreds.
Yeah.
Really?
And so a couple of years past, I had to dart out at like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night to go get more.
And we all reap the benefits here from people over purchasing.
Yeah. It all comes in afterwards. Yeah.
That is a good thing. That is a good thing. Yeah. Life is good. It's Halloween, and we're only a few days away from the political ads being over.
Yes, we're so close you can taste it.
I mean, for you, our listeners, you should know that we have every political perspective within this building, and none of us like those ads.
Well,
but we're required by law to run.
Yes, here's the thing, too. You think you've heard a lot of them? Sit at work where we have to sit here and hear them through the course of our, shows and whatnot. We hear them more than you do, so.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're with you.
Do you want Nick McElwain? No. Why? He burns his bagels. Do you want someone like that in office?
A head that size can't be trusted.
Kathy Romano butters her bagels. The choice is yours, Philadelphia. Make it now.
I like
Paid for you by the better butter bagel burners of Bruma.
I liked your thing that you've been doing, that this is not a political announcement. That was a great way to start that off.
But listeners, we get a lot of complaints about it, and we thank you so much for your patience. What you just need to know is we're required by law to run them. We can't refuse them. And so just bear with us a few more days.
You know, I have a blast doing when Jeopardy's on, and I haven't recorded it because I would record it and then just skip through the ads. But when you sit there, and one commercial will be a direct lavishing praise, and the next one will be excoriating. So I'll sit there and go, this scumbag, and then 20 seconds later I'll go, why can't anyone see how good this person is? And my wife and I do, we crack up because it's literally 180 from second to second.
Sure.
They're almost inescapable wherever you go. So, but again, our thanks to you, dear listeners, for your patience, our apologies, and our trust us. In a few more days, it will go away.
We'd like to thank our guests on the program, Tyler Fauntleroy and Lauren Mariasoosay, who came by from the cast of Hamilton. They're at the Academy of Music now through November 23rd. Both very, very wonderful people.
And thanks to Carl for calling in.
Carl called us this morning.
He did?
Yeah. He did.
Wow.
We had a longer conversation with him. Yes.
Crackers.
Yes, it was great, man. He lives in Berks County, 71 years old, married for coming up on 50 years.
Pierre, he built a radio. He had built an AM radio, and then he got turned on to MMR by his sister. And so in order to listen to MMR, he built an FM radio.
Yeah.
He's an engineer.
The Marconi experiment was way back then. So he built an FM radio himself to listen to it, and has been listening ever since.
Since 68?
I said, yes, you have to be the penultimate MMR listener.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was watching the video of the call, which was hysterical, because you could see you guys starting to laugh more, and then Casey put the Civil War music in, and then and when Steve does that voice of the Civil War series, the Ken Burns series, it's just, and then you all started howling. The video is really fun to check out on PrestonSteve.com, or I see it on Facebook.
Yep.
Anyway,
Thank you. So what's up on the show today?
We didn't do the letter, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. We better.
He's keeping you on track.
Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by The Letter.
Why they call me Twinkle Toes.
Yep. That's right, because you keep people on track.
That's right. The letter is A as in apple.
A as in apple. All right.
You call me Twinkle Toes.
Thank you, Twinkle
I
Toes.
keep everyone in line.
Yeah.
5-pack of float and sauna sessions from Halcyon Floats. And stress can be scary, so relax with a float session from Halcyon Floats, Philadelphia's premier float center. Relax, recover, reset, halcyonfloats.com. So now we can ask what's up on the program today.
More tickets for Tommy Conwell at Ardmore November 23rd. And we will again open Pierre's polling place and have some fun with your votes for what you think the best shows of the summer were. We'll play 4 or 5 more of those bands that appeared over the course of the summer here. And then our traditional gigantic block. I loved your Halloween selections, incidentally. Ghost of a Chance was really cool.
That was out of nowhere, yeah.
I didn't hear that one coming. But we'll have a giant block of Halloween songs. I don't even know how long it'll go, but we always have great suggestions, and we start I usually start in Rocky Horror Picture Show with a science fiction double feature, and then we go from there, and it evolves or devolves, however it goes.
I think the one quintessential song, because it is actually used in the movie Halloween, is Don't Fear the Reaper.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one. It's using the stand, whole bunch of really cool stuff. All right, well, let me thank our sponsors. The Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by Dunkin', and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin', also brought to you by Acme Market's official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles, and by Company Wrench. You can visit them at 2636 South Black Horse Pike in Williamstown or at companywrench.com. Tomorrow on the program, it's Friday. It's no Sabro. We'll be past Halloween. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. And we will also have from the AEW in studio, Orange Cassidy. That's it. We are done. Rage on. Have yourself a wonderful and safe and fun Halloween, and we will see you later, gang. Bye-bye.
Preston and Steve.